All right, we are back.
We're live.
We're on. It's on.
All right, so we got two new books. Two really exciting ones. I mean, you might as well show the hardcover. We could start with that. First one, Salvation on Sand Mountain.
I think we should talk about that one second.
I agree.
Okay. Okay.
Dennis Covington, and then the other one, Beljar, Sylvia Plath.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I'm always excited for this. This is like my social events of the month.
Same.
But I almost couldn't sleep last
Yeah.
night. I was so excited.
Yeah, I sometimes when you just have like a good two books to discuss. Like these are two books that like you're just happy that you're in a book club that someone else has read this because both are kind of hard to bring up in everyday conversation.
It's tough.
Like I can't just be like, "Hey, you want to talk about Sylvia Plath a little bit?"
I've been bringing up Sylvia Plath a lot, and I think people are getting confused.
Yeah,
Like, why is it? Can't keep talking about poetry.
but this is the time and place to
It
do it.
is. And you were making a good point that I feel bad for Call because we just can't get
I
the
know,
books right with
I know.
Call.
And we thought we had snakes actually initially was I thought what the wheel chose, but it made a last second pivot to Spiral Dynamics, I think.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, we trust the wheel, I think, and I think that's the only way to do it.
I
Because if
agree.
you start going against it, it's because we'll go down a rabbit hole and chase the wrong books. You have to let the wheel speak,
Yeah,
give it a few options, and it'll tell you where to go.
yeah. So this two completely different books, genres,
Yeah.
just how many people have probably read it or listened to it.
And I
Like,
feel like we've been hammering books that like directly relate to like everyday life and what's going on in the world and
yeah,
society and like it can almost get depressing, like finding out things about how the world works.
yeah,
And when I was choosing books for this round, my goal was to just completely like
get a break from
disassociate and
that.
like get a
Yeah,
break from that, like just something completely different. And that's why I think I put the bell jar into the wheel because I was like almost no matter what, like I don't know what it's even going to be like, but I
yeah,
feel like it's not going to be about like modern day culture wars
yeah.
and things like that. And so I think we succeeded on that.
I agree. And I
Right.
think you're also looking for two books that are not that similar. You want, when you pick two books, for them to be like really different.
Yeah, unless you're like hammering one topic where you both want them to be on something, but I don't even love to do that.
Yeah, I don't think we've tried to do that too many times. I think last time was probably more similar
That's
with,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, two like psychology type books, but
The theory of
that was
everything
not the
was just
case.
it was too advanced for
It
us. We
was,
probably
yeah.
should have come back to it like on book 100 or something
Yeah.
when we were smarter. We just weren't ready, I don't think, for that level of like actual intellect. We
I don't
need like
I don't know if anyone will ever be ready for
yeah, we need like fake intellect so we can pretend like we're smart. It was hard to even pretend like I knew what I was talking about.
Same, which made it even tough to really break
Yeah,
it down, but not the case for these two.
right.
So
Should
you
we
want to start with Beljar?
start with bell jar? I'm
You want to
excited.
start?
I can start.
Yeah,
We did the audiobook.
yeah.
Maggie Gyllenhaal
First note.
was my first note too. Because so my original like when they said, "Oh, this is read by Maggie Gyllenhaal," I was like, I think I was had like a negative feeling to it, but I actually think she did a great job.
Insane job.
Like she
Yeah,
made it like a play, not like a play, but like there was like emotion into it that I
yeah.
think really helped like the whole like it made it like a whole
That
experience.
was my first note. She read it, she killed it. Like there was parts where it was like, I don't know if she just has like she has a very, I think, like sexy voice. And my only experience with her before that was her role in the Batman movie.
Night, back
Yeah,
to the same
and I
thing.
thought she didn't kill that role. That
She's yeah,
I just thought it was tough for her because, like, no offense, but she's not the most stunning, typical A-list actress that you would cast for the woman interest of Batman. And like, not only the female like role in that case, but also like that she was like saying no to Batman. She was like, no, I'm with Harvey Dent, and I don't
yeah,
even. So it's like, if you're gonna be saying no to Batman, you better have a lot going on. And I thought that that was maybe just like hard to kind of sell that it was
yeah.
like that Batman couldn't get
She,
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
she got a lot of heat for that role,
Did
and
she? Yeah.
I think so. And I like kind of wrote her off after that is kind of
Yeah.
like not being a joke, but like, kind of.
Yeah.
It didn't take her seriously. So when they first said that, I was a little bit like, oh God, like did we make a mistake here? But I thought she did a great like audiobook is maybe her
I
wheelhouse
agree.
as an actress.
She killed it. The production killed it.
I love the music coming in and
Music,
out of
same
so like overall
chapters.
like I have a really hard time like explaining this book, which is why I'm glad we're doing this. But
Okay.
like I very much enjoyed it.
Same.
Like I really enjoyed listening to it. Like it had like this really dark and ominous
Yeah.
feel to it the whole time.
Which was weirdly, I think, like sexual in some ways, where it's like there's something oddly sexual about being miserable all the time and like so close to like just like the way she hated everything throughout the entire book and
Yeah.
couldn't take things serious. And it's like really, I thought ahead of her time. Like I don't
Yeah.
think it was cool to just be miserable all the time or say that you were miserable all the time in like the 1930s,
I think it was like 50s maybe,
50s.
50s, 60s she was around.
Um,
But yeah, but like
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I thought she was like very much ahead of her time in that, and story wasn't necessarily about anything. The author's note at the end that I love those, and
Yeah.
that was a that was
Yeah.
a good author's note where it was
Yeah.
saying how it's like semi-autobiographical, which I thought was kind of an
Yeah.
important author's note because the whole time I was reading, I was like, is this just a bio? Like, is she just writing
Because
an
it says like it's
autobiography?
a autobiographical novel or something.
I didn't even,
So I think it was like based on her life. All the characters were real.
yeah,
She just changed the names
took
and
certain
yeah,
liberties.
to
Yeah,
change it up a little bit to make it good, and then but it was based essentially based off of her life and like based on the fact that she ended up killing herself
yeah,
shortly after I think this book.
yeah.
Not surprising based on like
The book
yeah,
itself,
like
yeah.
her outlook on everything was yeah, it was like very dark. I,
Cynical view of the world.
yeah, and like she was like you were right. Like she was hating on everything before it
Yeah.
was cool to just be like
Yes.
everything sucks,
Yeah.
dude. Like
Yeah.
this is the worst. Like I don't care about school. Like I
Yeah.
don't care about like this job. If I just do this, it's stupid because
Yeah.
like now like everyone does it
Like
all the time.
the fashion industry, she was just like the whole thing's like just stupid, like
Yeah.
changing the colors and the
She might have
designs and
invented like the anxiety craze that's happening now
she
because that's
might
what
have, yeah.
everyone kind of does.
She certainly was the first one, I think, to do it in a cool way. Like I don't think anyone else was probably like anyone else that was that miserable back then probably was not also cool.
I think back then, if you were miserable, especially if you were a woman,
Yeah.
like your job was to shut the hell up
Yeah.
and not complain.
Yeah.
Even if you were a dude, like, it was probably unbecoming to complain. Like you go to your job, that's your job. You
Yes,
do your
yeah,
nine to
yeah.
five,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and like you button up, you don't complain.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, she kind of was like, no, I'm complaining because a lot of this shit is
Yeah.
terrible.
No, and
Some I agreed with, like in the beginning,
I agree with a lot of it.
she was complaining about tipping culture.
Yeah.
She was way ahead of her time on
She
that.
really was, yeah.
She was like, why am I tipping for something that I would rather just do myself? When like
Yeah.
it was like a bellhop at a hotel. It
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
carrying her bag, and she was like, I didn't ask him to carry it.
yeah.
I don't have the right amount of change to give him. I don't
Yeah,
know how
yeah.
much. And I was like,
Yeah.
I go through that all the
Me
time, where
too.
it's like, I don't have like cash a
You
lot.
also don't know what's an appropriate tip
What's
when you're not in situations like that all the time. Like if I lived in New York City and, had a ton of money and was used to just
mm,
constantly like paying for parking and tipping bellhops, like I never stayed at a hotel, where someone's brought up my stuff. So if someone brought up my stuff, I'd just probably be like, thanks, like I
right?
appreciate it. This is a nice hotel.
Yeah, but holy crap, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like I'm assuming you're getting paid because
Yeah,
you're
part
working right
yeah.
now, so I'm not gonna like just start handing you dollars. Is that
Yeah.
insulting?
And it's
Like I don't
also
know.
the tipping thing has gotten out of control. Like at
Here's
certain restaurants now, when you pick up your food and they're like, "Would you
oh,
like to add a tip?"
and
And
it's
it's
like
like,
25, 30,
yeah,
35,
and it's like I'm adding a tip for picking up my own food.
or like iced coffee. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like you just literally press a button.
yeah,
I saw one the other day, and it was a valet sign. And it was like the restaurant was closed, so it was like off to the side. But it was like suggested tip $7 to $10
yeah,
for a valet. And I was like, either that's wrong or I've been doing it wrong. Because
yeah.
like I would normally give like I don't know, you give a couple bucks.
I don't know if I've ever had a car valet before.
I never want it.
I avoid it.
I would
Yeah,
avoid
like
it.
if there's a choice, and like sometimes there
Yeah.
is. Like I'll pull up and they'll be like, you can valet. Um, and I'll just be like, oh, could I not? And they'll like look at me confused, like. yeah, I guess you could just like park over there, and I'm like, oh yeah, perfect.
If they're like, like you have to walk 10 miles, like I'll show up an hour, I would go an hour
Yeah,
early, walk 10 miles to avoid of
or just
LA
like
'cause it's so
Uber there.
uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like I would pay more to Uber there just to
yes,
avoid that
me
uncomfortable
too. Yeah,
interaction. So she was right on that
yep,
for sure. Yeah, there was a lot of that of her like picking out things in like day-to-day life that she just like couldn't fully understand and
yeah.
get on board with.
And also, she didn't want to, especially at that time, it was pretty much just like, get a job so that you can then get married and then quit your job and have kids and do all that stuff. And she like didn't want that and wanted to like have her own experiences in her own life and all that stuff. But she also
Yeah.
like didn't want to pursue her writing maybe in the beginning, and then she ultimately did.
Yeah, I was like trying to figure that out because part of me was like, all right, you're an English major and then you're having
Yeah,
trouble finding a job. Like, that probably makes sense. Like, if you're one of these like arts
yeah,
majors, you're not gonna get a good job, especially in like today's world, probably.
no,
But then the other half of me is like, well, we clearly as a society have devalued that
yeah,
so hard, and now no one is like talented anymore
yeah,
in terms of like arts. Like, there's like
yeah,
the artists aren't like art isn't a thing that's like valued.
no,
Like architecture, like every building that goes up looks like a piece of crap.
yeah.
It used to be like these really elaborate buildings everywhere.
Yeah, it's
So
more
like,
like computerized art too, where it's like graphic design is like
yeah,
the only field that you could maybe go into to profit off of
and a
with
lot of
art.
it's money. Like McDonald's used to have like a very unique like structure of their buildings, and like it was part of like the brand.
Yeah,
And now McDonald's is like just like a brick house because
yeah,
that way it's essentially like
cheaper.
a real estate company. Now if
Yeah,
they can sell it, someone else doesn't have to like tear it down and
yeah,
redo it. So like that has all changed. But so I wanted to hate on her for being an English major because that's in my blood to
yeah.
like beat up on like arts.
But she
But like
also didn't really want to be an English major. Like she was like, really good at school and really good at all these things. I think she was just most interested in those classes.
and she was good at it, I think too. Like
Yeah,
she was a good student, right?
yeah.
She was always getting A's and stuff.
I had one problem with the book, just one.
Okay.
What do you think it was?
Oh,
Like in terms of her writing?
oh, in terms of her, like how she wrote,
Yeah,
was it like how descriptive she was at times?
maybe a little bit that,
I
but
know like sometimes that gets you.
it was more the similes
Oh, okay.
where it would just be like, it was just like one or two similes is okay. But she must have thrown out, I would
Trying to
guess
think.
there has to be 100 similes in this book where it'll just be like, his eyes looked like,
Mm,
as cold as an old roll of quarters,
yeah, yeah,
or
she did a
the
lot of that.
quartz or this or that, like
Okay.
just comparing things constantly
Yeah.
to other things that had nothing to do with it, using like grass. I think that's a similar. But
We read.
yeah, we read a little bit. There was a million of them, like
Yeah.
way too many. But that was the only problem I had with her writing. And for this to be like a book that was like, we talked about Shakespeare last time, that it's like I hate every single part of Shakespeare. Like I don't even think there's like a sentence that I like, and
Mm,
like I think all the words are stupid, and I don't think it's good.
agree.
I don't think it holds up to the test of time. This does. Like her writing
Yeah.
holds up. Like it was
It's
very,
engaging. Like you're like
yes, formal, informal, like
the whole story, like nothing really happens the whole book.
yeah.
And it was like I just kept wanting to listen because it was like
You gotta kind of see what
for
happens.
some
Yeah.
reason I'm just like I'm in this world now
Yeah.
and I'm part of it and I want to see what how it goes and what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And like I think that's tough to do. Like that's good writing,
I
I
agree.
think. Like she's
Yeah.
clearly was
I think the
a good
production
writer.
probably helped her as well. I don't think we'd
Hmm.
maybe be as high in the writing if we had to read it ourselves.
Um,
I think Maggie Gyllenhaal absolutely killed it.
the
Production
the
team
yeah, I
killed
think we
it.
were saying the music
Yeah.
intro and outro
Yeah.
of chapters that kind of
Yeah.
just like
But we do listen
dark
to
like
a lot
piano.
of books, and that was, I think, like I agree. I think it seemed like the best written book almost out of all the books we've
Like
listened to.
clearly like this was an author and like the
Yes.
what you would think an author would do, not
Yes.
just like a lot of it what we read is like a researcher who goes and then writes a book about their research where
Yes.
like some of those end up being really good authors and they
Yeah.
do a good job and some don't. This is like she wasn't researching anything, she was just like she was letting her emotions flow.
Yeah.
And so she was pouring herself into the
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I thought really, really pretty good.
Yeah, she
Um,
hated like she it was a lot about because like and it's funny too because like there's a lot of stuff in there that was like very like women empowerment type of stuff and like
was,
kind of
yeah.
like hating on dudes where like I think people who would unfairly assume that I wouldn't like that, but
Yeah.
like if this is the right place for it, it's like I'm
Yeah.
open to it. Like this is a girl writing about her own life and her own experiences. Like if I'm reading the book, I need to be open to learning about her
Yeah.
life and her experiences. Like it's different for me than like some of the other books where people are like sneaking things
Yeah. So it's
in
about a different topic and you're
and you're
talking about your
sneaking
own
in your
experience.
topics. Like I'm
Yeah.
cool. I'm cool reading about anything.
Yeah.
So like even like those viewpoints, I was like, yeah, like
Yeah, no, I didn't have an
no
issue,
problem.
yeah, with any of it. I thought it was really good. Basic overview, I guess.
Oh yeah,
She's
we haven't.
living,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
living in the city. She's
In
essentially,
college,
yeah, in
right?
college and at like an all-girls college because things were just different back then. Not even an all-girl college, like an all-girl like dorm or hotel. It was kind of like a hybrid.
Yeah, it might have even have been an all-girl college, but she was at least in an all-girl dorm.
Yeah. And she's going out. She loves, eating nice food on like, she's working, I think, while she's in school at like some fashion. She like writes some fashion, almost like a fashion
Yeah,
blogger
magazine
with
maybe
today. Yeah.
something. Yeah,
And she because of that she gets to go to like these nice restaurants and meet all these people, but it's like the whole time she's pretty like down on the whole concept of life. Likes boozing, which I liked.
yeah. It was like
Likes eating good food, which I liked.
she loved caviar and booze, and
Yeah.
those are the only two things she probably liked.
Didn't like when her friend got too drunk and came knocking on her door and
It was
interrupted her
barfing,
sleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like she would be out and she would just be like she just didn't know how to kind of like fit into everything, so she
Yeah.
didn't know what to drink or like what to order to like be cool or like fit in.
Yeah.
So she would just order like I'll have
Vodka.
like a glass of
Yeah.
vodka on the rock, like no
She wouldn't even
ice.
say that. They would just be like on the rocks and she would just be like,
No,
nah.
like she just didn't. She kind of just didn't give AF,
She didn't.
which
It was
I
really
kind of
admirable.
respected.
Sam.
Like normally, I would feel like it's kind of like complainy,
Well,
and
I
but she
think
did
it's
it in a way that was like
no.
totally cool.
And it's tough to write. We talk about it all the time. It's tough to write your own story and
Hmm.
not just like paint yourself as like an amazing, hilarious person.
Yeah. So one thing I was thinking is like I think this is even before I started was like in order to write an autobiography,
Yeah.
you almost have to be a little like arrogant to
Yes.
think that like people want to read about me.
Yeah.
And but I didn't get that at all in her book, but
No,
I just like in general about like biographies, I
I
was like,
agree.
it's kind of a weird thing
It
to
is.
do.
And
And
it's
I
not
know,
an easy thing to do. And for her, I think especially was a difficult thing because, like you said, there wasn't necessarily a point to the book. Like she didn't write this being
yeah,
like,
it was,
I'm gonna tell everyone how miserable the world is and then I'm gonna kill myself. Like it
yeah,
didn't read like that at all.
no,
It more read of just like these internal dialogues that she was having about her life and just would pretty much like put it on a page and then like
yeah,
revisit it and keep coming back to it and talk about her life in like it didn't ever seem like she was looking back on her life. It almost seemed like she was writing it
in real
as in
time.
real time.
It felt like that's a good point. It
Yeah.
really felt like it was real time. And this would be like little things like she would say, one thing that got me was like, nothing turns me off more than like a man wearing blue. And I was like, look at my closet. Like I literally only have blue clothes.
Yeah.
But it was just like a part of the times, and she would just like kind of get like thrown off by like little things like that, like in
Yeah.
her day to day, which is like pretty relatable too,
I agree with
you
you.
know?
Like it's admirable how much she just didn't give a fuck too.
Yeah, she's
Like with everything. Like she would like even the conversation she would have like about guys that she would want to sleep with and like with Buddy Willard,
buddy,
Buddy, like who was like her old like kind of like romance when she was younger and kind of like their families knew each other, so it
high
was kind
school
of like
crush type of
yeah,
deal.
so it's kind of like they kind of were expected to end up together. They knew each other's families and they dated and all this stuff and like she just kind of talked about how like she just assumed her and Buddy would have sex for the first time and she'd lose her virginity to him.
Yeah,
Then
she
she
was
found
upset. She was
out
obsessed with
she
like
was.
losing her virginity. I
Yeah.
think that it must have been a big deal.
back then.
in that time range where like
Yeah,
as for a girl, because she was very focused on
yeah.
it at different
And then
times.
she like found out that Buddy ended up having sex with some other woman prior. And
Hmm.
then she wasn't even like jealous or like turned off. It
Yeah.
was she kind of was just like more like I can't have sex with him because he already knows what's going on. And I don't
Uh,
even know what's going on. So it's like I need to get experience first before then I can have sex with him. And it's just like things you don't think of today because like everything in our culture is so sexualized and like there's so many different ways you
mhm.
would find out about that stuff. Like she's in
Yeah.
the air where it's like you learned about it literally in school or from your parents
Yeah,
and
I
that
think
was it.
like I mean Age of Entitlement, he kind of talked about like one book came out in like the 60s that like taught all
Yeah,
women about like
yeah,
sex or
yeah, yeah.
something. You know, like it kind of like changed
And like
how
people
they
weren't
view it.
talking about it before, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about Buddy Willard?
I mean, at times I thought like, he's better than this and he's got to stop chasing this woman. Like now she's fully in a mental
Yeah.
institution and you're still visiting her. Like, buddy, like you're gonna be a doctor.
I feel like he like I couldn't tell if he either was like the worst or if he
Yeah.
was the man.
Yeah. But then there was times where I was like, buddy, like she can do better than him. Like, cause then,
Yeah, because then he started to really,
yeah,
you could tell he really sucked.
yeah,
But there were times where, like, there was one time they were at the beach together, and she was like, "I just want to be chilling here on the beach," and Buddy is like doing push-ups and doing
yeah.
sprints back and forth. I was like, that rules so
Yeah, that's
hard.
nuts.
Like,
Yeah.
imagine just trying to like relax on the beach and you're with a boy and he's just doing push-ups the whole time.
I get it though. It's like a lot of
He
people
did something
do
funny too.
go to the beach to just sit and lay in the sand, whereas like I do want to do stuff at the beach. Like I want to be playing paddleball.
Yeah.
I want to be like I'll do my reading now, which I like that I have, but
Mhm.
it's like that's something. I can't just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah. No, I mean that's it was Buddy. I think I wrote Billy. Um, Yeah. I did love his sex line. I wrote it down. He goes,
Was it Billy?
I,
Was that?
I think Buddy. I think you're right with Buddy. I don't know why.
He's just
No, I wrote Buddy. I must have been like
yeah, I
walking
wrote
ahead
about it.
Billy
Yeah,
here. He goes, have you ever seen a man?
yeah.
When they're
I
he's trying
love
to have,
that's what I mean. It was so frank,
she goes, no. And he goes, well, don't you want to see me? And like the way she does it is like almost funny.
and she was pretty much
And
just
she's
like,
just like, oh, and then he got naked and she was like, oh, like
"Oh yeah, yeah," And then he
that
was
like
like,
really
"Do
turned
you
her.
want to get naked?" And she was like, "No."
She was like, no, like,
Yeah.
she's like, well, like, who's I mean, no offense to the male body, but like
Yeah.
just see him like a flaccid male body. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, he's doing a lot of push-up at the beach.
He
Maybe he was
is.
ripped, but
Yeah.
it's not impressing anybody. I don't think that's a
It
girl's.
was
So
very
like
it
that,
seemed like very frank back then. Like it was just
he's
like,
like, yeah, well, aren't we gonna?
yeah,
I
yeah.
think a few other guys kind of that she was going out with or like
Yeah.
seeing a little bit did similar like very frank lines where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, like, aren't we gonna like
Yeah.
sleep together tonight?
It
And she'd
it
be like,
didn't
what?
yeah. It didn't seem too much like, let's go have a few drinks, get a little handsy,
Just
a little
hope that we both
flirtatious.
get drunk enough to be comfortable
Yes.
being around each other.
Yes. But like this seemed like no, like just two sober people having a regular
Yeah.
conversation and then just like out of nowhere being like, have you ever seen a naked man?
Yeah, like so I was like, okay, like those things rule, but then he
She also called it like a turkey neck and gizzards, which I thought was
yeah,
hilarious.
oh
Which
but
is
yeah, it's
poor
just
poor buddy.
brutal.
But it goes to what you said, and she's right. It's like I think the naked man is not like a very aesthetic.
You gotta really be in good shape, and then I think you gotta keep your underwear. Like I think like I'm not a girl, but like I don't think that's what gets them is like just boy parts on
Yeah,
a like flaccid boy,
yeah.
right?
Especially, I would think back then there probably wasn't too much grooming going
No, there's
on.
no
Probably
grooming.
wasn't shaving his chest.
No, no one wants to see that.
Nah.
Like, and again, no one appreciates a male physique more than me.
Yeah,
So I'll be the first to say, like, when the time is right, but
yeah.
that's not the time.
And if people are listening, which I know they're not, they're gonna say like, what do you two know about that? And it's like, well, we read the book,
We,
and she wanted no part of it
yeah,
either.
we're on Team Sylvia
Yeah,
here. That's, we support.
yeah. So if you want to go on the other side, go on the other side, and you and Buddy Willard
Yeah,
can.
you could be Team Buddy,
Yeah,
and that's cool. And I was Team Buddy at times. Most, because I think he was fine, but I think she probably was a little bit difficult to, because they were seeing each other for a bit, and I think at first, like. they first kissed, like I think she really liked it. It's like this is like I'm good now, like I'm chilling.
Yeah,
And then the more she found out about him, she was like, oh, he's actually like a hypocrite. He is really just like a dummy.
yeah,
And like I think that's like so common because like she idolized him for so long,
yeah.
wanted to be with him, kind of dreamed about like marrying him, and then like got to know him and was like, oh, like this is not all it was cracked up to be in my head.
And again, I think that's very much like ahead of your time thinking.
Yeah.
That it's like I think everyone's gone through that in their life where it's like they see someone from afar and they just think they're absolutely perfect and all that. And then it's like on the off chance you do end up like, together with them or getting to know them better, all of a sudden you realize it's like, the same way you have all these flaws, they have all these
Mhm.
flaws, and if your flaws don't complement their flaws and vice versa, it's like just not what it seems like from afar. But
Yeah, and I think back then a lot you kind of just dealt with it. Like it was looked down upon a breakup and stuff.
oh yeah, like a million
Like
things.
it was, yeah, even so, it's like, oh, we're going steady now. And then
Yeah,
you kind of like, it wasn't the way it is today where you're kind of like testing everyone out and learning. And then
yeah,
by the time you get married, you're like 35
yeah,
and you're kind of have seen like so many different things. It's like she was, I'm guessing she was like 19, 20,
yeah.
21
It seemed
during
like it.
these years. Like it's a lot different too.
Then she spent the next 40 minutes or so trying to kill herself, like
Yeah.
in various ways. She was either trying to kill herself or talking about killing herself, literally for the next 40 minutes or so.
She talked about it a lot, and it was weird because it was like it wasn't like, oh, like bad thing, like one bad thing happened and now I'm
Yeah,
gonna like kill myself. It was
yeah,
kind of just like, yeah, she's explaining her life as if it's like
yeah.
real time,
It
and then it was just
almost
like, hey, now today I'm gonna like take
go
a
to the
bunch of,
mental institution
yeah,
and
I'm
get
gonna take a
shock
bunch of
therapy.
pills.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if she,
Even when she went to the mental institution, it seemed like too early. Like it just seemed like this girl kind of
yeah, it
is
was like she's like not that bad yet.
nah.
Yeah.
And then I think she got shock treatment or no.
Before
So
that, she OD'd.
yeah,
She tried to take a bunch of pills, and
yeah,
I couldn't fully understand. Like, I think she was hiding somewhere, and it took them a while for them to find her, but I
yeah.
couldn't understand where she was, like in the woods or like I think I'm.
See, I don't even know if I caught that. I remember her talking about the pills, but I couldn't tell if that
mm,
was one of the ones where
She got it
she
from
was
like
like,
her mom's closet.
yeah,
So I think it was her. The pills I think were prescribed to her.
yeah,
She got a lot of them, and then they found her like being close to dead a few days later or something like that, and like the only thing I like put together was the people who ended up seeing her later on was like, oh, I read about you in the
yeah,
newspapers,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like that was a story of like, oh, we found this girl in the woods
Yeah,
type of
and
thing,
that's why she ended up like committed to the
and
mental institution. But she
yeah,
had spent time there previously just to get shock therapy, which I also
mm,
found was very weird how the mom kind of handled it. Seemed like she didn't need shock therapy, and then the mom takes her to go get shock therapy, inevitably hates it, and then like says
right,
to the mom on the way home like I'm never doing that again. And her mom's just like I'm proud of you. Like I knew my child wasn't like
yeah,
a crazy person. It's just like you drove her there. Like a better time to do that would have been before she got shock
yeah.
treatment.
It seemed like a lot of her problems were from her mom,
Yeah,
like her relationship with her mom, and the mom was like a very seemed like a classic like early 1900s housewife who was just like wanted to keep everything nice and prim and proper and keep like a ideal vision of a family
yeah,
for external purposes, be like not actually ever like like digest the fact that her daughter had mental
yeah,
problems and just kind of like write it off and be
yeah,
like, no, like it's just, she's going through a thing and like it's totally fine and never actually like deal with the problem.
yeah. I
Mm.
agree. And then
But we got Electro Boy, an Electro Girl
pretty
now. I
much,
was like
yeah,
another electrotherapy.
yeah. I think it was probably way more common back then. It
Yeah.
seemed like it.
And she had like the 1960s, let's say, version.
Yeah,
The other guy was what, like 80s or 90s, I
yeah,
think. So like you think electrotherapy would at least go a long way in like 30 years?
yeah.
Because the first one she got, it sounded like it was super painful.
Like torturous.
She like
Yeah,
knew like everything that was happening during it.
yeah.
So she was like, I'm never getting that again.
And she woke up like literally couldn't even kind of like remember stuff like how she had gotten to that room. Like she'd pretty much just
Yeah.
like passed out. Pretty pretty crazy, pretty crazy stuff. But one day she did sneak out of the mental institution, banged Irvin. or Irwin,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which was interesting. Kind of just because it seemed like an important part of the book because she had talked so much about trying to lose her virginity. And then when she finally did it, she did it to this like random, pretty much this random guy in New York City. It seems like he slept with a ton of women.
Seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, seemed like a good guy. And then I think like once she got out of the way, she just was kind of like it was kind of like a box checked and didn't have any interest in sleeping with him again. And
Well, she started to bleed really bad,
yeah, yeah.
and then like it wouldn't stop. So I guess
Oh yeah, then they had to like rush her
they had to rush.
to the hospital.
So she didn't want to tell Irwin
Yeah,
about it. So she's like, Irwin, can you drive me to my friend's house? And he was being a good dude. He's like, yeah, why don't you sleep over? Like, I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
get to know you and like talk to you more. We got a B
yeah,
situation here. Hold on. All right. And she didn't want Irwin to know how badly she was bleeding, so she
yeah,
had Irwin drive her to her friend's house, who she didn't even like.
yeah,
Um, and then the friend, I think, ended up taking her to the hospital.
yeah. I do remember
And
that, and she like asked Irvin to pay for it, and he was like, "Sure, no problem."
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. She like ended up calling him and being like, "Can you pay for that
Yeah,
hospital bill?" But so like that's I get a little bit woozy on things like that because I
yeah.
remember I think I was commuting into the city and I was like I might pass out on my walk because I get like a little bit crazy on those things. 'Cause it was very
Yeah, I
descriptive.
don't know too much about that whole process. We are surrounded by bees right now.
We are. Are we? Is it just one
I
bee
mean,
who's really making his presence known?
I saw a second, but as long as they stay behind
We'll
us,
keep an eye
I
on
don't
him.
have to live in fear here.
Yeah, be one with nature.
But yeah, and then the end,
So she went like back to the mental hospital. It
yeah,
seemed like she was kind of like happy there-ish. Like she was kind of at least chilling.
yeah. Funniest part of the book was she made a friend there who had also dated Buddy Weller.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
Buddy then comes to the mental hospital and like asks her like dead seriously, like, am I doing this to you?
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
because he was afraid that he
Yeah.
made them both crazy, and she like laughed in his face and was like, "No, you have nothing to do with
Yeah.
this," even though he
He
actually might.
probably might have, yeah.
But it's more of like not him specifically. It was just like the idea of him in
Yeah.
her head that kind of drove herself crazy, probably. But he probably would, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it probably didn't help.
Yeah, if you're doing push-ups on the beach, it might drive someone crazy
Yeah.
if they're not liking it.
And then it a little bit like Electro Boy, it doesn't have like a definitive
Yeah, it
ending where
kind of
she just
just
kind of kills herself. Like
ended,
it just ends.
and it like, but not in a bad way. It was kind
No,
of just like, oh no, one thing that I did pick up on, which I had trouble picking up on, was so it's called the bell jar.
I have that's my last
Okay,
note. I was gonna
yeah.
ask you about that. So how did you interpret the concept of bell jar? Because the whole time I read the book, I didn't know what a bell jar was.
I never even like thought to even think about what it was.
Yeah,
But then I halfway through the book, she mentioned the bell jar,
she does.
and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like that. I should pay. Hold on a second here. It's like in a movie when they like say the title of the
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
or something. Um, and I was like, okay, like I didn't know, and I still don't know, but I think it was like, I think it's just I did Google bell jar
I looked it up. Yeah.
just to get a picture of what a
Okay.
bell jar was,
Yeah.
because I was like, I could be real, but I think it was more so like she just felt like trapped in something, because at the end it was like, I think there was something about like, I feel as if like the bell jar is lifted, so it was
Yeah.
almost like an uplifting ending where she was leaving the mental hospital and she felt as if she was kind of like ready to like kind of re-tackle the world,
Yeah.
and at times she felt as if she was like in a bell jar, meaning like people were like almost looking in on her and she was like trapped in this world, almost like a Truman Show
That's
situation.
pretty good from you. So I actually had to look it up myself because I was curious about that. So first I looked up like what is a bell jar?
I was like, what, yeah,
And then
the type of jar.
yeah, and then I kind of got an idea from the picture, but I did ask AI like
What did it
about it,
say?
and it exactly the same thing that it's like
Like
a
stuff.
metaphor for like being depressed and being in the world but not being a part of it, seeing
Oh, like a
things,
barrier.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool too.
seeing things
Yeah.
through like a distorted view.
We need someone smart in our book club to tell us these
We
things. That's
do,
cool. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
But yeah, and I think that kind of brought it all together. I mean, we like books with good endings.
Yeah. But it's weird because like this book, like it just ended.
It
Kind of.
it
But in
did,
a
but
good way.
it did, and it brought it all together. And
Like
it
in a way
goes,
I was happy about.
yes, and it goes to the point we said before, like she's just a fantastic writer.
So like
Like I would do another Sylvia Plath.
I would 100% do another Sylvia Plath if she has other books. I would read a couple poems. Like
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not I'm not against that. But I think it just was so like I just enjoyed it so much because it was so different.
yeah,
And then just sometimes we try to get different stuff and we try so hard that we miss.
yeah,
And this was like a perfect hit
yeah.
in a weird way. And it's hard to describe why I liked it, you
You know,
know?
I agree. And you know what I think is funny about it too is when we try to get different, I think we sometimes go totally off like Electro Boy, where we go
Hmm.
really different. But then other times we try to get different by like picking some old famous book, like a Hemingway or this or that. And then I think like most of the time we do that, we're really disappointed.
Yeah.
So I think like
Yeah.
expectations were pretty high in terms of like neighbors looking at us.
We got a garage sale next door, so we
Uh,
may have a lot of fun guests popping over
they're
soon.
probably gonna have a lot to talk about at that garage
The garage sale's like,
sale.
what?
To see what your neighbors are doing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought this one really hit, and I think like I can see why she's as famous as she is, and like the writing I thought was like really pretty elite.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
no problems with this person being a famous writer.
Mm-mm.
Shame she took herself too soon,
Yeah.
but like it was pretty cool, but it was pretty cool.
Everything
Like I
about
don't
her
want
was
to
pretty cool.
encourage anyone else to do that because like obviously it's
I
terrible, but
don't
like
think what you're saying is like an outlandish statement. I think most people like give her credit for like glamorizing suicide.
oh
Yeah.
that's
I think
I
in
mean
part
yeah
that's why she's as famous as she is because like she took something that seems like utterly horrible and horrendous and like, not cool at all. She kind of made it pretty cool.
she made it cool. Even just like making writing cool.
Yeah.
Like if people were writing like this all the time, like I feel like it's a good outlet for stuff. And plus, and then for yourself, and then for others, like a lot of enjoyment in like reading,
Yeah.
even if not everyone needs to write like super dark stuff, but even just like the quality
The
of the
quality and
writing.
I think like her greatest strength too was her ability to like really be honest to herself and her writing about things that like would be really hard for anyone to be honest about. Like we said, like
Mm,
it's hard for someone to say like they're unhappy and all this stuff all the time. Like nobody wants to admit that to themselves. And it's like she was kind of the first one to like do that.
yeah,
And even like when she talks about suicide, she doesn't just say like, "Oh yeah, like I want to slit my wrist and kill myself." She like talks about like the idea of if she slit her wrist, then like logistically she would probably have to slit the other wrist in order for her to bleed out, or she might not bleed out, and it might be a
yeah,
problem.
like how fast she has to
Yes,
go
and
before.
then she even goes into detail about like, it seems like her veins are so close to the surface and like what she's trying to kill isn't like that close to the surface, so it's almost like she's killing something that she's not trying to kill. Like,
Something deeper within her.
yes, like
Oh,
all that stuff was,
nice.
yes, and all that stuff was really pretty cool.
Is really cool. Like, and plus, she was in Gladwell.
Was she?
I'm
Oh yeah,
almost
she was. She
certain it was
was.
talking to
She was the one.
strangers,
Is that the one?
or
Is she the one that stuck her head in the oven
I'm
and killed herself?
almost positive. I didn't Google it, but I was like, I'm 99% sure
Yeah.
she was the oven girl.
And her
And
chapter in Gladwell about the suicides was one of my
but
favorites.
one of the best things,
Yeah,
I'm almost positive it was talking to strangers too.
yeah.
Of because again, it still have trouble wrapping my head around this. Where
I
I
know
think it was
exactly what you're gonna say.
in the UK with the
Yeah,
ovens. They were like there was an epidemic essentially, and maybe she started it of women using ovens to kill
yeah,
themselves. And there was a crowd of people that were like, we have to get rid of these
yeah.
ovens. And the argument against that is, well, if people want to kill
They're
themselves,
gonna kill
they're going to kill
themselves.
themselves regardless or not of this oven that had, I don't know if it's carbon monoxide or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something. But they ended up taking away this type of oven,
And suicides
and
drop.
suicide dropped like insane
Yeah,
numbers.
and
And it
then
was like, well, this was just like an easy way to do it. It was convenient. It was painless.
yeah,
It wasn't as scary. So like, it,
it was there all the time. Yeah,
yeah,
and like women, and then like in typical Gladwell fashion, like he doesn't just do that. He like, gives you another example to really like
the
sweeten it
bridge.
up. The bridge one where he said like, all these people are jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, and they were talking about putting a fence there, and got the same argument. Like you can put a
Hmm.
fence there, people are still gonna just jump off of other bridges, or they'll just climb the fence and jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
And like they put a fence up, like not a impossible to climb fence, just a fence Like they could easily climb the fence and jump off, and yet like suicides decline like dramatically.
Just that little
Yeah.
deterrent. Yeah,
And
it
he
goes
does
a
talk
long
about
way.
like Sylvia Plath, I think, saying that it's like something about like wanting to kill yourself in a certain way, you know? I think
It's
it's like a certain way at a certain time is what she used to say, or what he made it seem like that. Like it has to be like it almost has to be like a perfect storm of like for at least some people, or at least for her, that
right.
it has to be like a time that you want to kill yourself in a way that you want to kill yourself in that moment, and you have the
Mm,
opportunity.
there's so I never saw it, but supposedly there's a documentary on people who jumped off. I don't know if it's a Golden Gate Bridge or a different bridge who survived, and every 100% of them supposedly say like the first thing when you
Regret.
jump is you regret it,
Yeah.
and that's like that might be the scariest slash saddest
Yeah.
thought in the world of all
Yeah.
this. The people do it, regret it, and can't take it back.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Brutal.
I mean, this books though.
Yeah.
It's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows in a world of books.
Book club,
But I do
especially.
love even just like, oh, we have Sylvia Plath in this one and like tying it back to like one of the first books we read.
True.
It's just so sweet. Like I have so much enjoyment from that.
Now, somebody tells me the second book, that's not going to be the case. It's not going to be tied back to too many places,
Well,
but
I'm just gonna are you
rating
doing
here?
oh so yeah, make sure I check my notes. Another thing, you mentioned similes earlier.
Yeah.
The fig story I kind of liked where
Cool.
I kind of forget the details, but it was like essentially this metaphor of like, or a parable of like each fig is like a different life path that you can get. And she
Oh,
felt like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or it was a dream she had maybe,
I
like she
think
was like
so.
drowning in it because she couldn't figure out which fig to
Yeah.
take. And like you're supposed to take like, do you want to take like this one or this one? And then
Yeah.
you become
Branch
this.
off, and
Yeah, and you
yeah.
branch off. And she was like drowning in that. Um,
It's just
she's
that everything she talked about was way cooler
it was cool.
than what she was
And I was
actually
like,
talking about.
this might be an allegory.
Could be.
And I don't know what an allegory is, but I
Yeah.
think that might be it.
She was dropping all
And
sorts of
we're
literary.
getting similes
Yeah.
and allegories, and we're really reading books now.
I mean, she's probably a big part the reason why, like in every writing class, in every like school, and reading or writing, they're teaching like similes and half the stuff. It's like she might have either had the education where you need to use a ton of them, or else you can't write, or she was the one who started like
Right.
that. Good writing has a ton of similes and
She either read
allo
one book about
whatever.
similes and was like, I'm going to do that all the time,
Yeah,
or she started
yeah,
it. Like now everyone copied her.
yeah.
And I'm cool with it either way.
Same.
Um, she, this is so stupid, but like she kept saying she wanted, or like her mom or the other mom wanted her to date a simultaneous interpreter. I've never heard of that before. She said it like
No.
20 times. I was like, is this like interpreting like a language? But like I thought that was like weird.
Yeah,
I was like she kept saying simultaneous interpreter.
yeah.
One note.
No. Yeah.
But again, it's just like
I think the times.
and my last note was and this is a big statement, but I said it had a Steppenwolf feel to it, not in quality exactly, but in the fact that it's like so engaging, you kind of get like immersed into like this weird world. It's like
I agree.
weird, like dark and like
Yeah,
ominous world.
I totally agree
Um,
with that.
did you have any other notes?
Not really. I kind of was the same with you in terms of like I didn't go crazy with the notes
Yeah, it
because I
wasn't.
was
I
just
didn't have
like
a lot of
pretty
notes.
engaged the whole time, and it was
Right, it was just
also relatively short.
it was short. Like I was also like excited to tell people what I was reading about. So I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm reading Sylvia Plath's like biography, like
yeah.
autobiography, and I'm just like just the confused look on their faces when they expect I'm reading like Tom Brady's book or something,
So you know who actually saw that we were reading it is Lord. And
Yeah.
she goes like, I saw you guys were reading the Bell Jar, and she was like, I was interested. I'm actually adding that to my list, like, so she might actually read it as well. So
Wow.
this is the first time the book club's going the other way. It's like,
Finally.
yeah.
All we gotta do is get her to listen
I
now, and
know.
we'll really be cooking with gas.
All right, so rating time. This is where it gets a bit interesting.
Yeah. I had a number coming in, but I think I'm gonna beef it up a little bit.
Wow, okay.
Just because like I did enjoy it. Like and then for me, like the conversation around it is important. And like I think we had a great conversation around it. I
I
enjoyed
agree.
talking about it. Um Did you write one
Yeah, I
down for
got
me?
one for me and one for you in parentheses.
Oh, I'm gonna struggle, but like I have no problem just throwing out good numbers of books that I like.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this is that good of a number, but I'm gonna give it a 4.4.
Wow. Okay, so I was four five,
Oh
four
yeah,
five.
yeah,
And I think like yeah, I think that's right. I think where I struggle in
yeah.
the fours is once you start getting into like the 4.7s, you're
It's
talking five
it
star.
it's a tough line because we're rating in such a small area. Most of our
Yeah,
books are between like 2 and
yeah.
5, like
And I do think
or
we
tighter.
we do need to, I think when we make these ratings, I would like to see like an accumulation of every book and their rating and try to place it. Like our top 10,
Mm,
bottom 10, I actually thought that was very helpful to
yeah,
like be like, okay, which book did I actually like more, this book or this book? Like,
yeah.
and like that's the difference between 4.41 and 4.47, it's like there's small little differences.
Yeah. But like again, like Beljar, it's not gonna crack the top 10, but it's not that's not even saying anything bad about it. Like it
Mhm.
was I have nothing bad to say. I mean, obviously there's nitpicking, but I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, same,
Like I just had a good time. I'm glad I read it.
same.
I'm glad I can tell people that I read it because it makes me
And
feel like I'm smart.
And I think
And
that's what
that
a
brings
four,
us,
4 or 5
yeah,
is going to do for you.
and that's a good leeway into our next book. And this next book is called Salvation on Sand Mountain, Snake Handling and Redemption in Southern Appalachia by Dennis Covington. And now, you've been throwing this one in the wheel for what feels like months
Yeah.
and it hadn't gotten picked. And it
Nah.
hadn't gotten picked and it hadn't gotten picked. And I gotta be totally honest, boy, am I glad this got picked
Same.
because this is what books are all about.
I couldn't agree more. I loved it.
I
From the first
I
page,
loved every
like
second.
you said, I almost texted you when like I read the first chapter and I was just like, when you read the first chapter and you're like, this is a hit.
This is it.
And this one I think I was really worried about because it was so hard to get the book.
This is one
Like
where
not on
it could
Audible,
go
not on
wrong.
Spotify. Yeah,
Like
when you're talking about like, thousands of ratings
mm,
maybe on Goodreads, not hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands. Like we're probably talking about like 3,000, 4,000 maybe.
yeah, I don't even remember.
Yeah,
But yeah, like immediately I was like, I am enjoying this book. And this is a little bit behind the scenes, but we try hard, I think, not to talk about the books in between while we read them, so that way we can save it for the conversation.
yeah,
But there was a few texts when we were planning this where like our excitement snuck out
yeah,
a little bit. Where it was like this, like we started talking about snakes
yeah.
within our like normal conversation because I think we just both couldn't contain our excitement enough.
Well, it's also what we said too, is like it's something you want to talk to other people about, but it's not a topic that comes up a lot in conversation to just be like if you're at work, like most of the conversations are either about work or about like people's families or like the weather, and it's hard to snake in or like
Yeah, there
snake
you
in,
go.
hard to sneak in like, anything about like snake handling in the Appalachian
It-
Mountains.
It's tough. It's a tough subject to breach. Like you almost have to be like when you sit down with someone and be like, "I'm sorry, but I have to talk about taking up serpents right now,
Yeah.
or else I'll explode."
Yeah. So you want to start
I,
just
like I don't even know how to talk about this book
without just going through it
because I
chapter
love
by
it
chapter.
so much because I can't like I don't even know where to so maybe a good place to start is like
Glenn Summerfield.
yeah and like
Yeah.
or even like the author.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
essentially this author like he was a journalist
Yeah.
and he wasn't like a crackpot dude like he was
No.
a writer. He was I think he was working for like the New York Times and like
Yeah.
other like real before they were the family New York Times,
Yeah.
the like real established things. He wasn't just like a complete like knucklehead. I think he was from like Alabama maybe. So he lived in the South and he got put on an assignment or he wanted to take it, I forget.
Yeah.
And it was a trial in this town. I forget the name of the town.
Yeah.
And it was Glenn Summerford, and he was on trial for attempting to murder his wife.
Yeah.
And the story was he had a gun. I think he was drunk, but he
Yeah.
had a gun to his wife's head, and they had like these boxes of snakes in the back, and he was essentially like, I'll either shoot your brains out or like you stick your hand in this like rattlesnake box,
Yeah.
or you can die from like a snake bite. And she stuck her hand in the box. She was getting bit,
Yeah.
So she's like getting filled with snake venom, I guess. She's
Yeah.
getting woozy. He thinks it's a good idea to have her write a suicide note. So he's got the gun to her head and he's like, write this suicide note.
And like in the suicide note,
It's like
like
the most,
5 times, it was just like Glenn doesn't know I'm doing
yeah,
this.
it was clearly like
Like,
a drunk person's
yeah,
suicide note. And he was,
because like literally 4 separate times, like randomly, it just says like Glenn's drunk in the other room. He doesn't even know that I'm in here.
yeah,
Like,
Glenn doesn't know anything about this. He's like in the other room. I'm like, I'm actually the drunk one. I'm gonna kill myself here.
which is
He's
hilarious.
actually a great guy.
Then he
Like
actually does get like too drunk, like passes out
he,
on the couch. She
right, right.
like is literally dying from the snake venom, but like comes to and realizes he's passed out, and like now's her chance to escape. She goes like
Mm,
running, gets help, ends up surviving.
ends up surviving. So
He
like,
ends up going on trial. I thought so after that first chapter, I thought the whole book was just going to be about the trial, which I would have been totally fine with.
I was just about to say, like,
Yeah.
if the book ended there, I would have been happy. Just one chapter. But essentially, like, so this guy, Dennis Covington, goes down to cover this trial, and then he
Yeah.
kind of like unravels more and more about this
Culture.
culture around snakes in the South and like ties it into his own life. And the whole time, it's just like I was so locked in,
Yeah.
page turner of
Yeah.
like what is coming next? What are
Real
these people up to?
really easy read too.
Easy and quick read.
Relatively short, like
It's
pages wise, and also like
240 pages, but the pages are like short, so I
like
felt like I
double
was,
space, yeah.
yeah,
So you kind of cruise through it. Like a lot of people probably could read this pretty easily in a day.
yeah, it's a quick read. Yeah,
Um, but I knew I was gonna like it right away from like the first page where he like shows up to like this town in the middle of nowhere, like looking for these churches that take up these serpents during their services, and like some guy just goes like, "Do you guys have any snakes in the car?" And he's just like, "No." He's just like, "Are you guys crazy?" Like it's just
yeah. There's like he kind of talks in the beginning about like there's this, and he's kind of drawn to this, but there's these like kind of weird, like not underground, but like side sects of like Christian, super Christian people, but like they have
they're like
these.
they're like sects of like Presbyterianism and like
Mm,
Methodists,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
different sects of
And
it.
they essentially have these services where they take up serpents.
Yeah,
And he was very intrigued as to like why are they doing this? What's the
yeah.
point? And like I just love the term taking up
Me
serpents.
too. I
As
love it so much.
I think I wrote it like 5 different times.
Me
I was like I
too.
would want to just take it like
And
like
and then like
because what does that mean?
they say it all the time. Like, when's the last time you've taken up a
That's
serpent?
how they
Or
talk
like,
about
yeah, or like the people that do it all the time will like brag and just be like, I've taken up 99
it. Yeah.
serpents. Like, I've been bit 47
The-
times. But we'll
there's
get to
so many
that.
things that yeah. And then like he finds out more and more, and we'll talk about a lot. But like
Yeah,
how many times they've all gotten bit is maybe the funniest thing
it's
in the
hilarious.
entire world. Where it's like clearly they're like
And they
they're
like refuse treatment on most of the
yeah. So
times.
it's
Like,
they'll consider it ungodly to accept treatment if you get bit by a snake because that was God's will I think at the time
yeah,
to get for you to get bitten, and you only take up a serpent if you're feeling the Holy Spirit.
yeah,
So if you're not feeling the Holy Spirit,
don't take one up.
don't take one up, and that's when you're gonna get bit. So there were guys who've gotten bit like 120 times,
Yeah,
and it's like not learning a lesson at
yeah.
all from just taking up serpents
But
all the time.
it's also had like a little bit of like a Tiger King feel to it, where it's like
Mm,
all these characters, like these people that are real people, and like he actually
yeah,
has pictures of a few of them, and like
yeah,
also hilariously randomly in the middle of a chapter that isn't even about them.
yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
just like I showed that to Adriana. I was just like he's talking about his family history, and he's just like it's literally a sentence that doesn't finish on one page, and then the next page is just like
10 pictures, 10
yeah,
pages of pictures.
and then continues the sentence, but. I would have liked those pictures to be spread out a little bit. It was probably cheaper to put them all in a row
Or
randomly.
more, because I was so interested in these people and what they
Yeah.
are like, because he described them in such a way, and I was like, almost like, wait, these are real
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
and like, it's just such a different world.
But they're all like very Tiger King-esque, where it's like they are
Almost like caricatures.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
like,
they are not real people. Like they are like even like Glenn Summerfield, like the story was like that he was having an affair, and then he accused her of having an affair, and then like, tried to kill. And then like his defense at trial was that she actually tried to like kill him, and like it was just
Yeah.
like I could have read an entire book on the trial just because it seemed
Yep.
like would have been hilarious the trial because like all those people are just insane.
I literally I'm almost speechless about
Yeah,
how much stuff is in this book.
yeah,
So I loved just calling everyone brother or sister,
yeah,
like brother Carl,
yeah.
brother Charles. I've been all
That's when like
morning.
he
I'm
knew
like,
that he made it when like Carl started calling him brother.
yeah, like so he goes. Essentially, he does this. He covers his trial. He talks to all these people, and he's just like kind of drawn to it. And he's like, He gets his urge. He's like, I need to like find out more about what's going on here.
And I
So
think he plans on writing a book about it.
yeah, he's
And
like,
what
all right, I'm
was
gonna write a book.
Salvation on Sand Mountain actually wasn't even, which I also think is hilarious. It was a title for one of his previous books. But I guess that book sucked, but he loved the title, so he's just
He
like,
kept
this
it.
is the real Salvation of Sand Mountain. Like, I'm gonna,
Well, it's crazy because like this, a lot of the stuff happened on Sand Mountain, which is a real place in like Georgia or
yeah,
something. But he wrote a book called that way before he ever even went there and did all of this, which is
yeah,
actually crazy
it is.
how full circle that all came.
Because I guess he's from that area.
He's from the area, yeah, and he kind of yeah. I was gonna talk about his family, but he goes back and he's like, I want to attend one of these services. Like, what's going on with these serpents?
Yeah.
What are these people doing? He finds one. I forget how.
They're like a
The,
bunch of them are like ritzy ditzy, like cardboard
it was
signs.
like a gas, essentially an abandoned gas station or convenience
Yeah.
store. And he goes in and there's like a few people. Like one guy's playing the guitar, and and they have like this whole sermon and this whole service, and he like really.
Which I thought was hilarious how short it was. Like he goes, it was the shortest sermon he had ever heard. It just goes like, God love the world, let us pray. And then the snakes were out of the box.
Yeah.
Like,
And I love everything about the services where you essentially have like someone up front and they're like preaching
yeah.
and they're saying a bunch of stuff and like in between every sentence, everyone's like, Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, preach it, brother. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
and then different people go up to testify.
Yeah.
And then if you're feeling the spirit, you go up and testify and you just are like you're feeling the spirit so deep that you go
Yeah.
out and you just like blurt out a bunch of
Yeah.
words like you're not even thinking
Yeah.
and they're playing music and people start dancing and they start like
Yeah.
vibrating and
Yeah.
feeling it and they're
Falling to the
hopping
ground.
around.
They like fall to the ground and then lay there motionless and then they like pray over the person until they come back to
Yeah,
life. Like,
speaking in tongues,
yeah.
just like shrieking at the top of your things, like just like picturing like 10 people in an abandoned convenience store in Georgia completely losing their minds.
Yeah.
And then then the serpents come out.
Yeah.
And then they reach in and the snake
Which
handlers.
has got to be undeniably electric,
I
especially
mean,
with like the amount of times like you kind of I kind of thought that it was maybe one of these situations where like maybe the snakes are really well trained and like they just don't get bit or maybe like their mouths are taped shut and it's all a show. It turns out not the case.
no.
They're not trained. They're literally like half the times
They
they
find them like the day before.
yeah, they just like find them and they don't keep them for that long. They just like release them and then grab like
Yeah.
a new one. So it's like they're constantly just like getting random snakes from outside.
One funny thing is like they kept referencing like oh like because he's trying to figure out like so why do they do it? What do you feel when you do it?
Yeah.
And they kept referencing like one thing in the Bible where I think Jesus said like my followers will take up serpents.
So I wrote that down because I
Yeah.
said it's important. So like after Jesus' resurrection, he came back and said, "In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak in new tongues. They shall take up serpents, and if they drank any deadly thing, it shall not harm them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover." So,
Amen.
yeah,
Preach it, brother Steve. I
so,
mean, we gotta just
but
we gotta live this.
but hold on, before you go too far,
Okay. I was
I
about to testify.
yeah, so I interpret that a little bit different, I think, than the way they interpret it. They interpret it as that they're going to take up serpents. But it says like they shall speak in new tongues, they shall take up serpents, and if they drank any deadly thing, it shall not harm them. So it's pretty much just saying like if they took up serpents or drank poison, like it won't harm them, right?
I'm with
it's
Amen.
but it's not necessarily saying that like
You should
you
always just be
should.
picking up
Yeah,
snakes during
and drinking
services.
poison because like they're drinking poison throughout
They
the entire thing
they
too.
also drank poison. He kind of almost glossed over it, or I don't know if they ever did it in front of him. But he was there so much he must have seen it.
Yeah.
He never talked about it in too much detail. He just always was referencing. I don't even know what the poison was. I don't know how to say it. It was like strychnine.
Yeah, I don't even think I wrote it down, nor
I
would I know how
probably
to pronounce
find
it.
it real quick. I mean, this is just Aileen McLaughlin here picking up a serpent. Like it ain't nothing. Like these guys are just
Definitely the prettiest of the clan.
they're holding snakes. Like, but I love the service. I love just testifying and people being like, I'm feeling the spirit and just going up and just unleashing some like just speaking in tongues, like just talking gibberish, and everyone being like, "Oh, he's cooking right now.
Yeah,
Like let him go, let him
yeah.
cook, let him cook."
And the music, like he said, it was pretty much just like if you gave a guy a guitar and was just like, I just want you to fool around with this for an hour. Like there was no consistency. It was pretty much just like random
Just feeling
strumming
the
and
spirit,
tapping.
you know.
Yeah,
Like we gotta be. It made me want to get out there and testify.
yeah.
It made me want to be preaching, to go for it. It made me want to feel the Holy Spirit. Oh my gosh, I was so locked in. Um, all this morning I'm walking around like trying to preach in the house. I was like, Sister Amy, Sister Karen, good Lord, it's going down on me. It
Yeah,
feels good.
that is an actual quote from the book. I think I did write that
I
down.
think I think it's Charlie, you know, his son, he says that.
Oh,
So the
does
whole
it?
morning I'm like, good Lord, going down on me.
I mean, it's not that far away.
It's is what they were
Yeah,
doing, but like it it like half of me is like this is a joke and these I'm laughing at these people and half of me is like this rules.
yeah.
And like it actually is awesome.
It's undeniably awesome to read about. I think
Yeah,
it's that same thing of like I can't believe this book actually isn't more popular.
right.
One, I thought he did an amazing job, and two, the topic itself is literally, I mean,
Insane.
it's yeah, it's one of those things where if everyone just read this book, it'd be like the number, like if you just like let it catch fire. Not everyone, like, but
The right people.
yes,
But
like put a little documentary on Netflix and
I think there
it would
might
blow up.
be. There's a few documentaries about like snake handling, and I think I only saw it in like the comments on the Goodreads or something. But if it had any of the real people in this book, I would love to watch it to see what they're like. What they're
Same.
like. Um, but yeah, so he goes into this service and he's like really drawn to it. Like they take up serpents. Or I don't even know if they did in the first one. Yeah. Sometimes they're just not the spirits, not telling you to do it. You don't do it.
Yeah.
And he's like really drawn to it. And he's like, I want to come back. He wants to keep coming back. And he ends up like very intertwined in this kind of like weird group of people that are like all interconnected. Like he goes to like
Yeah, it's like across like
services in
five different
like
states.
Georgia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee. They have like all these little sects. It's not
Yeah.
like a sect, it's just like a group of 10 people.
And a bunch of
And
them are really small and like some of them are like outside and then some of them
mhm.
are like actual buildings
Yeah,
that
they'll just
have
like set
like
up like a thing outside. They all like kind of know each other, so they all kind of are like traveling to these different
yeah.
services because there's not a lot of people doing this
True, yeah. So they travel very far.
clearly.
Yeah,
And
they all know each other. A lot of them are interconnected through like marriage, where you're talking about it, where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a lot of the big names in the book. It'll be like their kids are married to the kids of another snake handling fan. Like it's really,
Mm.
really intertwined, and like there's kids involved in the service. Like it's insane.
It
And just like the way that they believe in it, like after Glenn Summerfield got sentenced to 99 years for killing his wife, like they were in church like praying for his release and being like, they were like still giving him money from the church until like Charles was like, I can't do that anymore. Like,
yeah, they're so locked in. They're like, this is what is like going on.
yeah,
They it and they almost like don't know of like a world beyond it. They're like,
yeah.
that's just kind of what they have going on, and they just but they live it, and that I like respect that.
And in my head, I was thinking like 12 people at these services, but like not the case. I think it was more like 50 people in the
Some
smaller ones,
had a
and some had like
lot.
200 people.
Yeah, yeah. Some I think were really small. Some yeah got up to a few hundred.
Yeah.
So
But
he
the history is just hilarious with should we go into like the how many people have died and all that?
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
So like it is laugh out loud funny when you like because you kind of go into it thinking like, all right, like it can't be as dangerous as it sounds. Because like the snakes are not like just regular snakes. They're like rattlesnakes,
Um,
cottonmouth,
yeah, Cottonmouth. Was that there's one?
pit vipers.
Yeah, it was
Like they're all very, very poisonous.
coral
Like
snakes.
yeah,
Those are like the black. I googled it because I was like, I've heard of that.
yeah,
Those are like the black and red ones that are
yeah,
like I think the most poisonous snakes in the world.
yeah.
Like, so they were doing like literally the big snakes. It was and rattlesnakes were like they were talking about them as if they were like the more tame of the
Yeah.
bunch. And I thought rattlesnakes were like really scary.
Yeah, definitely. And it turns out they are really scary.
They bite you a lot.
Yeah, because like it starts going over like the history of snakes and how all these people have been arrested for people dying in churches that they brought in snakes. Like multiple people have died. Some dudes have been bitten anywhere from once to 116 times.
Yeah, that was
Se
Dewey Chafin or something. Or
yeah,
maybe I forget.
71 people have died from snake handling services. So 71
Yeah.
people have died during the service.
I
Like
wrote.
that is an absurd number for there's not that many churches doing this. There's not that many people doing it. Like there may only be at any given time like 100 people doing this and like 71 of
I
which
wrote.
have died in the
I
process.
took the opposite on that, where I was like, "That's not enough." We're like, we need more people taking up serpents and
Yeah.
taking the risk of feeling the Holy
Well,
Spirit.
that's the thing is if more people did, you would have a lot more deaths. You just don't have that many people doing it.
It's
And then the funniest part about all of it is anytime someone gets bit, like this is how like actually insane they are, is anytime anyone gets bit, they literally don't take them to the hospital. They just pray over them and they like take them to someone's house and like lay them on the floor. And then the person on the floor will literally be like saying like his obituary, like, if Jesus, I'm gonna go to Jesus tonight. And they're just like, no, you're not, buddy. Like, you're fine. And it's like 71 times they go to Jesus. Like,
yeah, but it's also like it's part of it. It's part of the culture.
they could
So
so easily just take him to the hospital, get the anti-venom, and they'd be
yeah.
probably totally fine. Like, there'd probably only be a couple of people that have died.
Oh,
But it's
100%.
like the fact that it's 71 is like the vast majority of these people, when they get bit, they
It's
literally refuse treatment. One dude got bit and then he started drinking the poison afterwards. Like, it's just utterly
but it's
absurd.
just so deep in the culture where like it's almost a badge of honor to be like, yeah, like Brother Carl has been like 28 times, and the fa- the number of their family members that died of snake bites. It's like, oh,
Oh,
his daddy died of a snake
yeah,
bite, and his wife died of a
yeah,
snake bite. Like he still takes up serpents.
yeah, yeah,
Like, he's still feeling the spirit,
yeah.
and it's like it's hard to not just respect it.
I
Like I
mean,
was rooting so hard for
whatever,
everyone,
Carl.
for everyone, like
Yeah.
all except for there were a few dickheads, but like all like the ones that I was rooting for him, the author, and I was rooting for all the ones that were like cool to him about it,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
were like kind of like, because he was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna write a book about all you guys,"
yeah,
and they were like, welcomed him in, and I was like, "That's cool,"
yeah,
because it's like, you think if you're taking up serpents, and someone's gonna come write a book about it, you'd be like, "No, don't
yeah,
write a book about this because we're gonna look crazy."
yeah,
But they were like, "Yeah, we got to spread the good word, spread the word of the Lord. Like you're gonna help us do that,"
yeah.
and they welcomed him in, and
Brother
I was
Charles.
rooting for
Yeah,
them so hard. So
yeah,
like I was like, take up more serpents, like let's go, like get a good sermon going.
yeah.
If someone's gonna get sermon going, I was feeling the Lord.
Were you? Yeah.
I was feeling real good.
I liked when he took out the tambourine and he just started kind of
Yeah,
like that was kind of like his initiation after he did like a tambourine solo, which
yeah.
is like hilarious to think about. It's like you're in this church, you're literally there to
You're
report.
nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Like
just like, here's a tambourine, you're gonna do a solo for the church. Probably never played the tambourine
but like
before.
it's almost but like something about it is so organic.
It
They
is.
weren't even
That's what I more wish religion was like
it's
less
I wanted to get
structured.
into
Like
that, yeah.
we're all going to this place. Ideally, I would like instead of like poison and snakes to be involved, I would like more like mushrooms and maybe nature
Well,
type stuff.
even just more like the passion behind that they had
Not
where
like fake passion and yeah.
where like they maybe tunneled it in the towards snakes a little too hard.
Yeah.
But like, what's wrong with church these days? Too focused on money,
Yeah.
diddling kids,
I was gonna say, yeah.
and the I think it's a little bit too much of like going through the motions. Like when you go to church,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we do
Yeah.
this thing and we do this thing, and these services were like 100% feel.
Yeah.
Like there's no plan, there's no process here.
I think
It's like,
smaller knit community too, that like the problem that I have with churches, like the person that's talking, you don't know on a
yeah,
personal level. They don't know you on a personal level.
yeah,
Like these sermons, a lot of them were very personal. Like they would go over and talk about other people and like, especially at the end, got a little too personal.
yeah.
But they all knew each other. They all knew each other so well, and I think that kind of helps a little bit.
It definitely helps, and even just like you're not following such a rigorous structure where it's like, okay, like for these 4 minutes
We
we do
pray,
this thing, and then
kneel.
there's the hymn,
Yeah,
and then there's this, and then we kneel, and then we stand, and we kneel, and we
yeah,
stand, and then this, where it's just like at this thing, it's like, oh, the guy playing the guitar was just like really feeling it, and like he started to go off, and everyone's dancing, and then they started doing, and then one guy started to feel like he needed to say something, so he starts to testify, and
yeah,
everyone's like letting him go, and
yeah.
then it's just like
Even with the snakes, it's not like, all right, time for the snakes. It's like when that Holy Ghost hits you, you're
it,
going into the
it
box and
hits you, and that
you're
Holy
taking
Spirit
out a
fills
snake.
you up,
Yeah,
and that good Lord's deep inside you, and you're
yeah.
feeling him.
And
Like,
there's only like a 20% chance you get bit by a poisonous snake.
right. But so then it's like the guy, the author Dennis, he gets like more and more involved with these people in the services. He's going more and more, and he's like, why am I so drawn to this? And he starts to realize that like his family roots are like embedded in this like southern mountain culture of like snake handling.
Yeah,
I
so
thought that was all like really cool
it
too, where he could like
was.
have this like self-discovery as he's like on this assignment where he thought he was just gonna write a book about like these crazy snake handlers, and
Yeah,
he's like, wait a minute, like I'm like might be one of these people. Like
yeah,
I'm like relating to them so deeply in like my like blood
yeah.
almost that like
And I think that's always scary when a researcher starts talking about himself in his own book. We know that from previous books, but
it's
I agree. I think he actually did a really good job with it, and he starts talking about like his own experiences, and he weirdly was always a bit infatuated with snakes. Like he had a bunch of snakes,
yeah,
caught a bunch of snakes.
growing up as a kid, yeah.
Yeah, had even someone gave him like a king, like a cobra, or like a king snake or something like that. That was like really big. Like he had like a 5 foot king snake that ended up like escaping from his house when he was like 20 or something like that. So it's like when you have your own snakes or people are gifting you 5 foot snakes when you're 20 years old, like you're a snake guy.
You're thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
So like
Say the
he
same.
kind of kept that hidden for the first part of the book, like, and I think probably rightfully so, because if
Mm,
someone's just like, I love snakes and I've always loved snakes, and then they're like, I'm gonna write a book on this, I would just
true,
immediately be like, I can't really trust what this guy's
true.
saying because he
He
had an ulterior motive.
he did it in the right way where he was like, why am I so drawn to this? Let me
Yeah.
learn about like my genealogy, and he like went through like his dad had all these
The
notes about his
Covingtons,
family and
yeah.
like where my grandparents were from, and then he kind of put a bunch of stuff together, and he interviewed some
He
people,
was
and
able to like find a couple of Covingtons that were snake handling creatures,
right,
like,
and they were just from the other side of the river or something,
yeah,
so it
but he
was like
wasn't like sure if they were related, but it's also the South, so it's like a lot of those people I think are
yeah,
pretty
and this
related.
is like especially then it was like very sparsely populated areas
Yeah,
where it was before it like they hadn't gotten in like interfered with from like the cities and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like I don't even know, like maybe they had electricity at some of these
I
places. Like
did kind of like when he talks about that it's like these people came down from the mountains to essentially
mm.
get jobs in like these coal factories and these like essentially during like the Industrial Revolution. What is your child doing?
she's just she's filling with the Holy Spirit
Yeah.
right now. She's testifying in
We
there.
need her out here.
Let her going. Sister
Um,
Caroline.
what was I saying?
I have
I
no idea.
lost it.
Yeah, that was so distracting just for some reason.
But like the people up in the mountains like coming down
Oh
for work during the Industrial
yeah.
Revolution. It is like a pretty fascinating concept because we read the one book and he pretty much said like the Industrial Revolution was like the worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's
like
by the Unabomber.
yeah. but
Worth noting.
and it's not necessarily wrong. And it's like, yeah, these people that lived in the mountains had this kind of like rich family cultural, norms, and they were like really sheltered off from the rest of the world. So it's like when they finally came down from the mountains, everyone else had been working in like this industrialized society for a while, and they're pretty just like, what the F is wrong with these guys? Like, look at how they're dressed and all this stuff. And then they just pretty much like retreated back to the mountains, some of them. And the people that stay in the mountains, it's almost like an indigenous tribe that's had no
Right.
human contact, where it's like they're just up in the mountains. Like they didn't know how much the world was changing from like 1950 to like
It's
1990.
it's true, and this is the debate I have all the time where it's like who's the stupid one? The person in the south in the mountains, like taking up serpents,
Yeah,
or me sitting in a chair all day staring at a screen for like money. Like
yeah.
it's like I don't think it's as obvious. I
No,
don't think
as it once
like I think I
was.
might lose that debate. Like someone
Yeah,
who is embedded in the South, like they're embedded in their community, like that's their world, they have their support system,
yeah,
they do what they need to do to get by and they like are happy in that world versus like the rat race of the
yeah.
cities and it's like,
To get like new
you know,
shutters and
we just heard you testifying inside
Sister Carolyn.
on the front porch when she just made that sound. We just heard her go like a crazy yell. But like, her like rah, on the porch. We're like, Sister Caroline's feeling the spirit out there. Hi, Sister Caroline. You feeling the spirit? Yeah.
A lot happier now.
Remember when Brother Steve made you cry? Wow. It was allergies.
Placebo effect, perhaps.
CB.
That's a good sign.
Okay. So
Progress.
we're
Yeah.
making progress. Hi. Hi, Sister Caroline. Are you feeling the spirit? You're feeling it? She's feeling the spirit.
He's been doing a lot in this as well. You could tell he's feeling it.
I'm feeling I'm feeling Jesus way deep in me right now,
You
and
know you're gonna have a
I
problem.
like how
Paul's just out here taking a gardener snake up in the air, like taking up.
I wish I was gonna order like a toy snake or something. We could like drape over our necks like those like rubber
I would
snakes.
have liked that, yeah.
I didn't think about it until like yesterday though.
I just didn't know how good this book was actually gonna be, and how
I
potentially life changing it could be.
I knew almost before like when I got the book, I knew
I
before I even opened it. I could tell like this black and white cover, the kind of
yeah,
shoddy pages and
yeah.
everything. It had the feel.
It's also like it's a book that's probably, how old do you think it is? 20, 30 years?
It has to be, right?
Also, my copy, even though it was like 20, 30 years old, it seemed like it hadn't been opened that many times.
This is 496.
96.
I mean that it could mean anything.
No, that's when
Check
they put that
check the
on.
copyright.
Where
It
does
should be
that
on the first
usually?
couple of
We
pages.
should know more about books, huh?
Should be there.
I'm just gonna I want to say it on camera, but I'm gonna
This thing doesn't even have
Yeah.
copyrights. Let me see.
You check this out.
You got a
I
baby to
got
deal
Sister
with.
Caroline here. You feeling the spirit up on the front porch? We heard you testify. So
1995.
95.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This said 94. No, 96. I was
yeah.
gonna say they got this in here before the book even came out.
That's how you know the good Lord
They're just
placed that
waiting
down
for the
on
first
us.
copy.
Amen. Amen. Am I in the word, brother Steve? You're in the, you're in the word.
Amen.
You're in the
Amen.
word.
No, that part of it's undeniably great. So then, he's traveling around doing all
He's
these,
traveling to all these sermons with
talking
these
about his
people.
family
He's
history.
loving it.
Yeah.
He's feeling it. Eventually, he has a tambourine episode where he is kind
That's
of
when he
like
becomes
comes out of his shell a little bit.
brother
That's
Dennis.
when Brother Dennis comes out,
I also
and
love
he's
the chapters in this too, that it's like, I thought he just killed it. Like
everything.
snakes, check.
The fact that every chapter was like almost like 20 pages, which made it
Yes.
me be like, oh, I can read one more. It'll take me like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and I kind of know what's gonna. Like even that worked for me.
And then, so let's get into the ending here. This is
So
what-
he once he like breaks out of his shell with the tambourine, he actually um he starts going more and more, and he's like getting into it, and he's like, I'm really enjoying this, and he ends up like feeling the spirit in one of the services, and he
Yeah,
takes up a
he
serpent.
does. Yeah.
And he like as he's grabbing it and he like lifts the snake or someone handed it to him maybe, and he is kind of like he's like loses his mind in the sense where he's like it's like an out
He
of
like
body
yeah,
experience
disassociates with
where like
himself.
everything else like went like completely white, and like the serpent even like disappeared, and he just like felt himself like there in the
Yeah.
world like
Which I can see like how your adrenaline would have to spike and then there's all
yeah.
this stuff going on around you. So it's like the same way certain people probably feel when they like do something terrifying that they're able to like
Disassociate
yeah,
from like what's around them and just
yeah,
like only like you're like completely I think he was like I'm completely like in the moment
yeah.
for like
I was really kind of wishing like that he just got bit immediately.
I was rooting for him
Not that I wanted
so
him to get
hard.
hurt, but I just thought it'd be absolutely hilarious that if after
Mhm.
like 200 pages he finally takes up a serpent and then just immediately gets bit. Like it
Yeah,
reminds me so much. I was watching this TV show once about this guy who, like, if an animal like gets trapped in your house, you like call him and he like gets the animal out.
right.
And he's like in Australia, so it's like all pretty dangerous animals. And he gets this call to his business, and it's like some incredibly poisonous snake. And he just goes like into this big backstory. He's like, the last time I handled one of these, I actually was in a coma for like 2 weeks. And he like shows a
Holy
picture of him in the coma and all this stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. And then he just like bends down and he just goes, I'm bit. I'm bit. Like, immediately. And I remember watching it was like 2 in the morning and I was like hysterically laughing. Like I just couldn't. It's just like that's like,
crying, laughing.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I was kind of hoping the same thing would happen, that it's like he finally takes up a serpent and just immediately goes like, I'm bit. I'm bit.
I was rooting for him too hard. Like I wanted him to be fully a part of all of the snake handling stuff. I we learned waving and putting our finger on our nose this week.
Yeah.
Clearly, right?
Yeah.
And we learned about taking up serpents.
Yeah, so is like taking up a serpent literally like putting it up and taking
Yeah.
it
You like
out?
take it out of the
Literally,
box and just like hold
like
it
they
It's
up.
very
keep them in a box in
literal.
the
Yeah.
It's
service,
very
and like
literal.
during the services, and when you're really feeling the spirit, the
You
guys
bring it
just kind of go to
out.
the back and like take these serpents
Yeah.
out and just like hold them
And then
up.
sometimes it's like immediate. Like the first service, it
Yeah,
was
they
like a
get like
really rinky dink place. And then like the whole sermon was literally just like, let us pray, God be with us. And then immediately they go into the box for the serpents. Like they just, I mean,
They
half
just want to do
they
that.
just want to,
that's
yeah,
when you get bit though,
yeah.
because if you're not really feeling the spirit, you're
They're
gonna get bit
not.
100% if it's not God's
Oh,
will.
is it because they're like, is it like the devil, a snake?
Well,
It's
that's
not.
actually, I'm glad you brought that up because they
Oh.
they do go into that a bit in the book that these snake like handlers get called in to do certain like exorcism type stuff. Like they'll be like,
Is Rosie gonna be weird with it?
Yeah,
um,
she
like
just
I
wants to
thought
hang out.
that part was weird with like it's had like real exorcism vibes with like the girl that was in bed that like what did she say
Wait,
that was like absolutely horrifying? I was trying to
wait.
find it.
What part?
There was one part, unless I've been dreaming about this book.
You have been, 'cause I have been.
Um,
I'll remember. I'll remember.
there was a part where he was talking about the snake handlers and how they traveled around to like do
Yeah.
to like different kids to try to pray over them when they like had almost been like the devil was in them. And then there was like a couple of different cases that they brought up, and one was like a girl who
Wasn't she just like you could pray over me, but it's not gonna do anything to like?
oh, it was something about hell, where
She's like, I'm gonna be hell
one was
anywhere.
like, yeah, like I'm gonna see you in hell or something like that. It was like really pretty dark, where it was like some little girl. It was like, are you worried that you're gonna end up in hell?
Oh yeah,
And she
and
said
they
something
they
about like,
couldn't like help her. Like there was
yeah,
like brother Carl or Charles was like
yeah,
he went and he was telling Dennis about it, brother Dennis.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
scary stuff. I mean,
But I think like these people, like they're just so in this world where like this is it, and like they're not thinking if this is like good or not or bad or not. Like this is just it for them.
Yeah,
Like they're in a snake handling world, and you can't half be in a snake handling world. You're either in or you're out.
yeah. I'm close to it with the Bilal.
Oh, is it we're in the Elvis
Yeah,
section? Because that because they were kind of saying like Elvis was a wicked one, and I didn't understand why Elvis was so bad.
yeah. They all seem like they had quite a few problems. Like a lot of them, like
They all
Deacon
pretty much like
Browner.
cheated on their husbands and
Yeah,
stuff, and he had just like a second wife. It didn't
bunch
sound
of
like he
them,
did anything bad.
bunch of them like married like 16 or 15-year-olds when they were 18 as well. But it is the
Yeah,
South. This was the poison strychnine,
yeah. Like I can't say strychnine,
strychnine,
strychnine.
whatever it is. It's not poisonous. Poisonous enough to kill you. It's just very interesting.
But I think it's poison enough to kill some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure
'Cause I
some
think
of them die. It also seems like just not a good thing to be drinking poison when you've been bitten by a snake already. A poisonous snake.
I think like they get so possessed and they believe they are with the Holy Spirit that they're like, this can't hurt me right now because God is with me right
Yeah.
now, and that's part of the snakes and part of the
And then
poison.
if they do get bit, it's like God will save me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was God's will, and He'll save me. And then yeah, getting your like your last words right was important.
Yeah.
How bad is it? That might have been it.
Some
If it's still in, let me know. I'll come. Oh boy,
Rosie's interested in the lost.
she's gonna help. We got a lot going on here. We got garage sales, we got wasps, we got dogs, we got babies. We got we're just, brother Steve and brother Paul are just trying to testify right now. We're just
We
trying to get in touch with the Holy Spirit.
we are like towards the end. I think we gotta talk about the wedding.
Yeah, I'll
Like
talk about the wedding. Sorry, I just want to check my notes too, make sure I didn't miss anything here. All my notes were like, I'm afraid how much I'm liking this. Um,
it was everything you could ever want from a snake handling book.
also was interested in like just the fact that like how different their life was than ours, and like I do think it would be
Little
helpful
hillbilly
if
eulogy vibe.
everyone should like have to live multiple different lives before they chose which one was actually the right one.
I think jobs too, yeah.
Right, like so like the Amish have like Rumspringer, where like once you I forget if you like you turn 18, they're like you go off into the regular world and become a regular non-Amish person.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you can stay and do that. You just can never come back and be Amish. But almost most of them come back and go back to being Amish because they come in the real world,
Well, it's
they
like they've been
live, they
prepared so
you
shittily.
drink, you have technology, you have
Yeah.
all the stuff, and they're like you after being Amish, you it's different how you view all of that stuff. You're like, these people are just like weird. They just like stare at their hands all day, and it's like their phones.
That's fair, but I also think like
But
if you were to be raised Amish, you'd be essentially be raising like a loser for the real world because you're like raising them to not
yeah,
be able
but
to
it's like,
fit in.
but I don't even like you don't have to even go and get like a job or anything.
Like they
Like
probably have them
you
trying
just
out
kind of
for
like
high school
vacation.
basketball teams, and they're probably
Yeah,
just like, this sucks,
that's a good point. I don't know how it works, but like the idea of like testing something else out before you fully commit to the way you are, I think is a good idea. And like I think if me and you went down and took up a few just a
Just a
few
couple.
serpents. We
Yeah.
don't have to do it all the
You
time.
don't think we'd ever come back?
I it would at least help change our worldview and for the better. Cause or we come back and we'd appreciate this more and be like, hey, at least we're not taking up serpents here. We got this, we got some problems, but like we got some things in order. Or we'd say like, hey, there's a lot we learned that we can bring here. Maybe we drive back with a box full of snakes,
Servants,
you know,
yeah. No.
in the back seat.
Now I have a question for you. How dangerous or how big of a serpent are you willing to take up? Like, let's say we're gonna head to Rampo Reservation right now. We're gonna go looking for serpents.
There's a lot of serpents there.
There is. What? How big of a serpent? What type of serpent are you willing to take up today?
That's a good question. I have a
Like, I know you're hoping that Brother Carl will show you the way. Like, me too. Like, I'd
yeah,
love to
like
have a
my
Brother
own.
Carl. Yeah, but
We'll pretend I'm on my own.
you're on your own.
Okay, I don't even have brother Carl.
You know
Uh,
Brother Carl.
All right,
I'll
so
be there to photograph the event.
my background though is not as someone who takes up
Have you ever taken up
serpents.
a serpent?
I've killed a lot of snakes, which I don't want to. I wasn't gonna say,
Yeah.
but basically, like in my backyard in
Oh yeah, I
Appalachia,
remember you used to do it with the shovel.
there was a lot of they're pretty big. They were big, like 4 or 5 foot snakes,
Yeah.
and my mom would be like, "No, like we're not having snakes
Yeah.
around. Like if you see one, you have to kill it."
You have dogs.
Yeah, there we had dogs in the backyard. They were in, especially like then, like we didn't have like super big dogs or anything. Not that that even matters probably with snake, but it was just like no.
I mean, these serpents are
It was
killer.
a no. It was a no tolerance policy on snakes in the house.
Okay.
And so if I saw a snake, I would literally just like grab a shovel and like chop its head off immediately. It's just wild. Because even now, like it would be so weird to do that.
Yeah.
So I've killed like dozens of snakes. Like I would wake up and my mom, we got one rattler
Did
in
you
the driveway.
did you kill it?
I was asleep. I wish I could.
Who killed it, your dad?
I was asleep because I was like an angsty teenager who like slept until noon.
Yeah.
And my mom ran it over with the car
Smart.
twice. And then we kept it in the freezer because my dad was like, "I'm gonna make a belt out of it." And just well, there was just a snake in our freezer for like years.
Kind of love that.
Um,
Everyone has their own unique stories with serpents.
but like every that's the thing about snakes is
Yeah.
there's something about them.
They're controversial.
So back to your question, my instinct would be to kill on sight.
Yeah.
but, but you know, in my old age, I'm not a killer
But
anymore.
if I was able to if we were able
If
to
I
get past
was
that initial, I hold you back for a second and then you get in your
like, if you had just given a sermon
yeah.
and I was really feeling what you were saying how, like Jesus lives within us, we have to get our house in order.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, Brother Paul, is your house in order? I said, Brother Steve, my house is in order.
Yeah.
And I would just reach down and grab that serpent.
But what kind of serpent are we talking about? Like if I could get you a gardener snake
I would
today,
100% be,
take up a gardener snake?
I would maybe do it, but I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Even with the garden snake,
Me too.
garter snake. I don't
Oh
even
my
know how
God.
to say it.
Do you know what
I'd
just
be
think
scared.
even like about a bug. Like just things that like give you the creeps. Like if it's really tiny, I can do it. But you start getting into that big bug range, you start getting into
Yeah.
like spiders. When you crush, and that's not even picking one up. When I crush a big spider, which I don't have to anymore because I have a salt gun. But when I
It's an
before I had a salt gun and could just shoot him from on sight, if I had to crush a big spider, like a cricket spider, it would send chills throughout my entire body.
It
Could you imagine
does.
having to pick up one or like pick up a snake and hold it? If you
Eh,
like, if I went into the box for a gardener snake, it would be running around the yard not 1 second after I picked it up. Like, there's no way I'm able to hold that thing
I
with
don't.
any sort of conviction
Right,
without help from the Lord, I guess.
right. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
is the Lord with you on this one? Are you in the Word? Or are you out of the Word?
I think we try it one day. I mean, I would love for Carl to come back for another meeting and we'll
All
just
I
have a
want to
box of
do
serpents.
is go to a handling service
Yeah,
and just feel what these people are feeling and just feel the Lord.
yeah.
But if I'm being honest with myself, I'm
It'd
not.
be really tough
But I
for me.
think that's right. I think that's the right answer for us. Like, we're not, you can't just take up a server one day.
No.
Like, you got to go to these services, you got to feel it out, see what the deal
This
is.
guy though was really comfortable with snakes. Do you know what I mean?
He was
Like,
always
because he
comfortable.
grew up catching snakes, having snakes as
I
pets.
grew up
Like,
with snakes as the enemy
yeah.
in my life, so it'll be a big adjustment for
That'd be
me.
really tough for you. And I grew up
Yeah.
afraid of them. We actually had one. Do you ever see our snake that we had?
No,
So
I don't think.
we had a few snakes growing up
As
as
pets.
pets, but little ones like gardener
I
snakes.
didn't know you were filled with the spirit like this.
I mean, mostly, been men's doing. He would find them at the Rampo
Really?
Reservation. And he'd bring them home. A couple of times, he actually lost one
What?
in the car one time. Got out of the box and
What would
like,
he do? He's on a hike. He sees the
yeah,
snake. He catches it somehow.
yeah,
And then how would he
catches it
get
with his
it from the
hands.
top of the hike
Yeah.
home? He would carry it
So
in his
whatever we
hands.
had. So like sometimes it'd be like a little shoebox or something.
But
Cause
you're on a
like
hike. Or
it
you could
was
bring one in anticipation.
he would have stuff just
He'd be ready
because
for a snake.
he'd be with like two
Yeah.
small children, maybe three.
So you have
So
like
you'd
bags
have
and like a
bags and stuff.
backpack.
Yes.
Okay.
So he'd like poke holes in a bag and bring it in a bag. and then he'd bring it home, and we had snakes getting out all the time.
And the snake laying lost in the car is insanely
Yeah,
scary.
lost in the car. Then he had one lost in the house. So like one time when I was in high school, like Brandon Soda was coming over and we walk back into my house after school and no one's home. And like I was in the basement, he goes up to like get a drink from the kitchen. And he comes back downstairs like white as a ghost. And he just goes like, "There's a snake in your kitchen." And we had lost one like maybe like 6 days earlier.
Jesus
So it was
Christ.
just like frolicking around the house, and it came out was like under the fridge because you know how the fridge like puts out heat or something,
Yeah.
like under it.
Oh, so it
So it
gets
like
warm.
came out. It went to the warm stretch. So he's
Oh,
like
it's
going to
like
the
a
fridge,
little,
and there's
yeah.
just a snake like right outside the
Oh
fridge.
my God.
So I call my dad, and he's like, I'm like, what do you want me to do here? And he's like, get it back in its cage. So we're like chasing this snake around the
Yeah.
house, but it was like that same thing of like, I thought if I had the opportunity to grab it, I'll grab it. But like when you actually try to grab a snake, it's different than it's easy to say it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's scary. If there was a snake here right now, which
And you're just
I wish
like,
there was.
yeah.
I would be afraid to be like, I'm just gonna pick it up
But I think
without
we could
proper
potentially get
instruction.
the same effect of picking up like a small gardener snake as they're getting picking up like a cottonmouth pit viper.
100%.
Because like my fear would be so visceral that
Yeah.
I'd be leaving
Y-
my body
You'd be leaving
entirely.
your body.
Yeah.
100%.
We might not even have to pick up a snake. Like we could pick up like a large cricket
I'm getting a
and
little
like
nervous talking about it. Like, that's all I need. So you got to work your way up to it. You don't start as a snake handler.
no.
Like if I think if we went and maybe like you were on the guitar and I was on the tambourine, like that's how we can kind of like
We earn that brother status first.
find our way. Yeah, and once we start
Yeah.
getting Brother Steve, Brother Paul, then one day you're really feeling something. Maybe you pick up a serpent, but
Yeah. It's
I,
a tall order.
it's this whole
It also seems
and I'm
really
not ready
tough.
for it. I'm the
Yeah.
first one to admit it.
So, gotta talk about the ending because I thought that was the most like,
Yeah. Start off with the wedding.
yeah. So there's this wedding, it's a pretty big deal. There's like 200 people there. There's no snakes at the wedding, but everyone that was there was like a snake handler pretty much, or like in that community. So they all brought snakes.
Yeah, so like
So
the
like,
husband, the guy was a snake handler, but his mom was from like Michigan.
yeah,
She was not, and she
she was
didn't.
like worried
The
and
wife,
like the reputation she like knew about the reputation of the snake handlers that they all like are horrible to women. So this was
yeah,
like a really weird last
and
chapter.
she didn't know. Like the wife was also they were both snake handlers getting married,
Yeah,
and then the mother of the guy didn't meet her future daughter-in-law until the day before the wedding. So
yeah,
this was all like kind of sprung upon her, and
which is
she was
pretty
just like,
crazy.
"What the f is about to happen at
Yeah,
this wedding?"
I would.
And he's building up to it where he's like, every story has to come to an end.
Yeah,
And this ending became really obvious to me. And now he starts talking about the wedding, and like you kind of know something big is coming.
yeah, yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
like what is going to happen at this wedding?
yeah. So then he's at the wedding, and basically, like after the wedding, right? They have like a
The wedding's completely
ceremony.
normal.
Yeah,
Everyone kind of like breathes a sigh of relief,
yeah.
like, oh,
Nobody brings
we
snakes
thought it was
into
going to be
the.
like snakes and like
Yeah,
fist fights and like
yeah.
people were shit was going to hit the fan.
Yeah, and he says like it was
It went
really
completely
normal wedding,
normal.
and
It
even one
went
of the
great.
snake handlers like Pumpkin Brown says like like for normal people like we don't just like.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm not. No one's gonna trust
But then
Pumpkin
it's also
Brown.
yeah, but then it's
He's
also funny because he's like yeah, of course like his wife told him not to bring the snakes, and he was just like if someone tells me not to bring the snakes, I'm gonna bring all my
which
snakes. So he
that
brought
was the
like
one thing
two
about Pumpkin
boxes of
Brown that I
snakes.
did like because
Yeah,
I would have. If
that
someone tells
is
me not to bring snakes to
yeah.
like their kid's birthday
I'm
party,
bringing
I'm
them.
coming. I'm coming with snakes. So they
Um,
went to. They had a service after for all the snake handlers, and
yeah.
I guess everyone from the wedding also went to the service, like even the non-snake people,
Yeah,
which I
so it was a pretty big service. And then Brother Charles, right, who we love,
yeah.
gets up there and does a sermon and pretty much goes at his camera woman's like head
Yeah,
top.
and beforehand he goes to Brother Dennis and he's like, I think you might be preaching today.
Yeah,
And he was kind of the author was kind of feeling it on the way. He's like, something feels like something big's gonna happen. I might want to preach tonight. And
yeah.
preaching's a big thing.
And if
Like
you're
you're talking
preaching,
the
you're
world
taking up a serpent
you're
again.
talking the word of the Bible.
Yeah,
You're probably taking up a serpent.
yeah.
it's different than testifying when you're kind of just going up and like spazzing and saying whatever you want,
Playing the tambourine.
playing the tambourine. So the brother Carl kind of puts that into his mind, and he's like, he feels good about it. I think
Yeah,
at first, where he's like, okay, like brother Carl, like that's like the hint I needed to get confidence to go up and preach.
yeah. So then Brother Carl does a sermon and he pretty much like calls his photographer like a false prophet and says like women pretty much like don't have like pretty much just gets like super sexist towards women, like they don't have a place in the church and they don't like
Yeah, he
they
goes
can't
on like
be prophets
if
and
they if women were should have been in this XYZ place, like they wouldn't have made they
Adam
would
Eve
yeah
and like
Adam
Adam
wouldn't
when it came
Adam would have
first.
been made out of Eve, not the other way around. So he's
Yeah.
going into this whole like
And like meanwhile
very
like
like
this
randomly because he like wasn't that
yeah,
kind of
and he
guy.
like really talks about Brother Charles like really like as his mentor like the entire book.
I love that we're using Brother Charles and Brother Carl interchangeably. It's two different people, but I also don't know which one was which at all.
Whoever it
Because
was,
I think they were similar. They're both like good dudes.
yeah, whoever it was, they just like went on a sexist rant and about
And then
women.
about women, and then I
And then
think
he kind of goes after his wife. It's like he's kind of looking at
he's
Dennis Covington's wife
the
as he's
female
saying this
photographer who's
stuff.
with him and the wife.
Yes. So like both of them feel like really uncomfortable. Like they're kind of looking at him like, what the F is going on? Like, why is this sermon literally about us? Talking about like false prophets and people that are not going to tell our story and all this stuff. Like, because Dennis he hadn't even written the book yet. Like nothing came out negative yet. Like
Yeah, yeah, and it was
the
interesting
photographer also seemed like terrible at her job. Like there's a bunch
the
of
whole
times where
time.
like
The
yeah,
whole time.
like when Dennis Covington takes up a snake, she was just like, "Oh, sorry, like I didn't have any film."
I should, yeah, like this is
Just like what?
the biggest part of the book.
Yeah,
He finally takes up a serpent. He's been thinking about it the whole time, and she's like, "Yeah, I
makes
didn't get
me
a picture."
yeah makes me question if Dennis Covington even took up the
That's
surfing.
a good
You
point.
know, that seems like a real cop out. Like, did you get a picture of it? Like, out of film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I
So Brother
mean,
Charles, I guess then, I think he called on Dennis.
to
So
then
he's like,
testify.
it's like, hey, it's your turn to preach. Like, come up
Yeah,
here and do some preaching. And then he went up and he was author and he was, I think, feeling like he had to kind of stick up for
defend
the
his
ladies
wife
in
and
his
ways.
life.
Yeah,
And he goes up and he's like, uh, first of all, I love everything about the testifying and the preaching, where he's
yeah.
like
Sorry.
brother Charles, am I in the Word? It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're in the Word, you're in the Word, brother Dennis. And like
I
after
do
every
like that
sentence, he's like,
stuff.
am I still in the Word? Um, and Dennis, the author, he starts talking about a story of Jesus' resurrection and
Yeah,
how he's like, oh, who was the first people to see Jesus when he resurrected? And everyone's like, the disciples.
yeah.
And he's like, wrong. And he's like, am I still in the Word? And Brother Carl's like, no, you're out of the Word. And he
Well, he
goes,
goes like, yeah,
It's Mary Magdalene was
yeah,
the first one to see Jesus reborn. And he goes, you tell all my disciples that I've risen from the dead and all this. And I think the fact that it was like he was trying to like prop up women and make the ladies in his life feel better and kind
yeah,
of say like, hey, like we're all just kind of chilling here. We're all like men and women are equal, like this type
yeah,
of thing. And he was kind of trying to tell a story from that regard. And Brother Charles was like, you're out of the word now. Like you're
yeah.
done
It
preaching.
was just like silent.
Yeah,
Like
no
he was
one
like
normally.
expecting
So normally
like an
during when
amen.
you're preaching, you get like amens,
Yeah,
like that's it,
constantly.
like you're with the Lord, brother, and all this stuff. And he was just getting silence, and he's looking around like hoping someone is going to give him like an amen or something, and he's getting nothing.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I have it up here. Yeah. So he goes,
Because you're in the word.
yeah, a ton of it. Am I in the word? Am I in the word?
Yeah, it's a bit.
But the stone had been rolled away from the tomb, I said, and a man in white, an angel, sitting there, and the angel said to the woman, he's not here, he's risen. Am I in the world? Amen. Carl said, you're in the word. I'm in the word, I repeated. I moved along, whatever. And I said, who did Jesus first appear to? The 11, Carl said. I turned back to him. No, he did not appear first to the 11. And I walked slowly across the platform again, heading straight to Carl's son, Virgil, who was standing by his drum set. He appeared first to Mary Magdalene. I said I drove each word the direction of Virgil's chest on my fingers, a woman out of whom he had cast 7 devils. There was no amen. I rolled back to the face of the congregation again. Bunch of stuff. I was waiting for an amen, which hadn't come. And then I think that's when he takes the word away from him.
Are you telling me he goes right here?
No, oh yeah, he goes. We better add that a woman's place is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Right.
In him there is no male or female, no Greek or Jew. And I spun on Carl, am I in the word? No, Carl said, you're not in the word. Are you telling me I'm out of the word? Yes, you're out of the word. He smiled. It was a smile of enormous satisfaction and relief. At last we had reached the end of our story, his eyes seemed to say.
I love that because in a weird
Like they
way it
kind of
gave
didn't
like
even know.
closure
Yeah,
because it was the author he got so spun up in this world where he's like, am I like, is this what I should be doing? Like, is this who I am? I'm a snake handler in the South. And I think these other snake handlers accepted him and brought him into their world, but they kind of always knew like this isn't you
he's an
full
outsider.
time. Like you're
Yeah,
an outsider. This isn't you full time. And they needed, and this was like a way for them to like really cleanly wrap it up and be like, hey, like you came and you saw what we were doing here.
see that ant? You want to take up that ant?
That's a big ant. That ant, like if that ant,
That's what I'm saying. Are you gonna take up an ant that
see,
size?
this is what I do with ants. See, I'm gonna give it.
That's
I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it to the Lord.
that's the problem. Is that's your first instinct. But
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
but I was just saying that like they were like kind of there was like a mutual thing where like he was like, wait, am I really gonna be like a snake handler for the rest
Yeah,
of my life? Like
yeah,
probably not. And they were like, you're probably not gonna always be chilling with us and coming with us to these things. It was fun when you did it.
yeah,
We can all be cool. Like this is the moment where we're gonna be like, all right, like you're kind of done with us. We're kind
yeah.
of done with you. At least in terms of like being like really part of the close knit like snake handling.
It definitely gave it closure, and I was like cracking up to Abriana this morning that it's like the ending. It is like it does give it closure, but it's also hilarious that it's like what finally like a little bit of sexism is when he was just like,
That
I
was a
can't be
line.
part of this. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
line. It wasn't them drinking poison or taking up poisonous
Right.
snakes. Like all that was fine to him. It's like they're a little bit sexist, it turns out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
can't be a part of
No, I
this.
didn't even think of that. That
Yeah,
like that's where he drew the line
which
of
is
all the
pretty.
things. But he even wasn't saying anything that. Wow, that ant.
That can't almost be the same one.
That ant must be filled with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, you gotta leave him,
I
man.
think he's part of the podcast now.
This might be a smaller one.
Is it? Because that's pretty huge and it's coming towards me now. And now if you're coming into my space, I got to put my good Lord onto you. And we might have to figure something out. But he seems like he's just chilling. He's doing his
Yeah,
thing.
he's just checking out the new setup that we got here. It's a box on top of a box system.
We got a double box system here,
Yeah.
which is big time.
What I was really worried about is there's a pretty big spider somewhere around here. I
Is
hope he
there?
hasn't found his
See,
way.
the spiders freak me out, but then they catch all the other bugs sometimes too. Like if they put up the
I'd
webs.
rather them not. I'd rather zero spiders. I hate to say it, zero snakes.
So you want zero snakes on the loose in your house, but you really you want more snakes at your church services.
You don't
Uh,
want them on your property, but you do need them in church. There were snakes in my church, I would have went to church a lot more often. Especially if people were getting
Right.
bit. Like
Um,
if people are getting bit left and right, like, and I
it's,
had preachers dying, and like, you know,
it would be church would be must see activity. You
my preacher's in prison. I get to go and gossip about how he killed
my
his
if
wife.
my preacher might die
Yeah.
during the sermon, I'm not gonna miss
Oh yeah.
a time. I was just laughing at my notes where Um, what literally back to back notes. I need to handle snakes more than I need air to breathe. Maybe some poison too. My next line, LOL that they get bit all the time.
All the time.
Like you're loving these things. Um,
I'm surprised they're not a little bit as poisonous as I thought they were.
yeah, that was actually interesting too.
Like
Like
if I got bit by a rattlesnake around here, I
I
would
thought
just
I'd
be
just be
like, I'm
dead.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you're
I,
probably fine.
yeah.
You
I'd be
probably
like,
can get
you're gonna have to carry me.
some anti venom.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Um,
carry me home, call an ambulance right away, and it'll probably be too late. I'm losing
yeah,
the leg.
this was a good quote. This is just a dumb quote, but well, it's not dumb because it was Jesus. Only in loving ourselves do we find ourselves.
Wow,
Well, I thought like I've got more in my spiritual journey from this book than
than
I
any
do from
service.
like an hour at church,
Yeah, I
which
agree.
is like only because it makes you the way he's kind of like reflecting on himself as he goes through it makes you like reflect on your own self and like your own path.
I think it makes you think that you could do it too.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like is that like am I like so lost in my world where like that's actually what I should be doing. Like, should I be like taking up serpents?
Yeah.
And instead I'm like commuting on a train into New York City all the time. Like,
I
am
also
I
think,
that lost where
yeah,
like that's actually right? Or like it just makes you like rethink, like, hold on a second, like what is happening in the world
yeah.
and
I
what
also
should be?
don't think we should necessarily have like jobs and positions that are that you have to like, do a certain amount of schooling to get. Like if you want to go and preach, like you don't need to go to preacher school.
No, you just get up there.
Do they even go to preacher school? I think they do, right?
For like
Most of them.
priests in like a Catholic church,
They have to go to like,
you like study in like
what do they call it? Like a starts with an S, right?
seminary.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
You like it takes like years, I think. Like you can't just like be a priest tomorrow. Like I think it takes years of like
it's
practicing
kind of fair though, I
and
guess.
studying and learning. Like also like all this stuff, like they were quoting the Bible like a lot.
Yeah,
The Bible might rule.
yeah.
Like there's we should eventually we're gonna read it,
I think so. It's on our
and
list.
it's it's like wild stuff in there. It's like insane.
Yeah, it's
Um,
I think the problem I have with the Bible is there's really good sections, and then there's sections that are just like just don't make any sense. Like it'll just be like the son of this person, the son of that,
I
this
think we
is
have
the
to
son
find a
of this.
version that is like a readable
I
version kind
agree.
of thing, which
Yeah,
then you get into problems where it's like translation issues
exactly.
and things. But I think we kind of just need the idea
We're
of like
trying.
this because there's good stories in there, and I
We
just
are,
think that's
yeah.
like maybe the best place to start. And then if you
We're
really,
trying with some of the books. Like
yeah,
we kind of thought that was what was the guy's name, Sam Houston or something, with the Book of Religions or something.
right,
Like I think that's what we're looking for is maybe something like that, but that's actually what led us to this book, which is hilarious.
that is hilarious. What else did I have here? I did like that. Well, like he was going through like his family genealogy,
Hmm.
and that's something I always wanted to do. Was like actually know like it'd be so cool to know like what your like great grandparents were doing and like
Yeah,
where they were and stuff. And like I don't know that. Um, like that would be. Do you know like what like how far up do you know on
I'm
yours? Like I know like something about like my great grandparents. Like that's it.
okay,
But
so I
like
can't go that far.
names. But like this is my parents' grandparents.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Like
Yeah, I know my grandparents or my parents'
mm,
parents. That's it. And on my mom's side, I really don't even know my parents'
really.
parents that well. Like I know of them, but like they're like not to
Yeah.
the effect. But I know my dad's parents were both like immigrants. So I think that's where it makes it really tough, where it's like now all of a
It
sudden
gets
you're tracing it
lost.
back to another country, which
Same as
is
mine.
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it becomes almost impossible. I'm sure,
Whereas
but I don't
like,
want to put my DNA into these like things that would just steal
no,
your data and whatever,
yeah.
whatever. So like, but
But
like,
that's where like
I do
Dennis
want to.
Covington being from the South, and being generations of,
They've been there for a while,
yeah,
and like he was learning that like his like ancestors were like snake handlers,
yeah,
and like
in like the
imagine what you can
18,
find out about
yeah,
like if your great grandfather was like just anything. Like it would be cool to know.
it would be really cool
I
to
would
know. But
I
I think
would
it'd
love
be
that.
really hard to find out when it's from another country. You would almost have to get it from like he was saying his dad had that little green binder that just had like names and dates and all that stuff. Like you would
Right.
need to find something like that or else it'd
You'd
be
have to
really
hope
tough.
someone did it before you, who's older than you,
Yeah.
that like had easier connections to those people. And
It's also funny too, like if you ask your grandparents about their grandparents, now all of a sudden you're past what you know.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like
And
that's
have
like
you
I
ever
just like I know their names essentially,
your
and like a
grandparents'
little bit about what
grandparents
they
or
did.
your grandparents' parents? Your
Oh,
grandparents' parents.
my grandparents' parents.
But if you were to ask them about their grandparents, now you're already past that, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
which I might have done when I was little, but I wasn't smart enough to like really do it and remember it. So now
Yeah.
like I don't know.
You're also
You know,
like going to dates that it
no.
almost seems like there wasn't even people around back then.
Yeah, it was like
Like you all of a sudden start getting to like your grandparents'
yeah, like my
grandparents.
grandparents probably born in the 1930s.
Yeah.
So then their parents is like maybe the early
W-
1900s. Now like you're
Yeah.
already in the
Yeah.
1800s, like
Which just
really
seems
quickly,
like, yeah.
which is wild. 'Cause now we're
Now
like,
now you don't now you're in Simon Kenton territory.
literally, which
Yeah.
is actually wild
It
because that's like
is.
it feels like a completely
Like
made up
there's just
world.
nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're literally in
Hmm.
like the Wild West.
which is insane. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh wait, I
Like
had
people are
like
just shooting people.
clearly people were doing stuff then that led
Yeah.
to me,
Just seems
which
unfathomable.
is
Like
just the
people are
weirdest
just
thing.
getting to a disagreement at the bar and would just be like, let's duel outside and shoot it
Yeah.
out. Like
And
that
then
was
like that guy
like that
had it like
seems like it should be
created me somehow,
nine,
you know,
yeah, it
like
should be like 9 generations ago.
yeah, 100%.
And
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
really like poor.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, it's like your grandparents, and
Yeah.
like I knew my grandparents pretty well
Like your grandparents were
for a long
partially
time.
they were partially raised
They were a huge part
by
of my life for like
those
25 years.
yeah,
So like their grandparents, it's not
yes.
that crazy, but
Yes.
like they were in the Civil War, bro.
Exactly. And like their grandparents were like raised in a culture where they could just go outside and shoot someone
Yeah.
and like not
And
face
then
consequence. And it's like
and
they
then people are like,
raised
"Oh,
your
they're
grandparents.
not adjusting to like
Yeah.
modern culture, but
Yeah.
like, oh, we're not getting into culture
Not
wars today."
not this week.
There's actually one thing I have to say. The only and this isn't even a bad thing. I thought it was a little bit weird. This is a quote that I thought was a little bit random in there. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
He said at one point, because he's like so invested in the snake handling, he said, it transcends the erotic when a 13-year-old girl gets the Holy Ghost. Literally, as a random thought he had on page 167.
I
And it didn't, like, he's just talking about the congregation, I think, and how everyone is getting so
yeah.
swept up in the spirit. And I thought it was an odd way to describe it. Um,
He
but
did that
he
a
might be
couple of
meaning
times.
that in a different way than, like, our current lens of just viewing everything in the lens of pedophilia, where it was like, I don't even know how to defend it, but like,
Yeah.
but I just thought that was random. But like,
There was some certain parts in that. I had something similar where like Aline McLaughlin, she said, who was like always on the verge of like ecstasy, said, and I quote, the Lord would move on her in the ladies' room at work. And he just like put that
I
in middle
love
there. And it's just
how he said
like,
like the Lord would move on somebody like
yeah.
that. That was a great way to
And
put
it
it.
just sounds like that sounds oddly
The Lord
sexual
is
though.
moving on Brother Carl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Right? And especially after
yeah. I
like
would
he
read
says
things like that
like,
and be like, "What is that?
yeah,
Like, would she like get her period or
yeah.
something? Or like,
It seems like not like
or get like horny?
we're
Or like,
actually talking about the Lord, but I guess maybe they are talking about the Lord in those situations, and we're just the ones that have like perverted minds.
I agree.
That you can't just say like a lady,
Yeah,
have the Lord move on her nether parts.
yeah. I mean, any other thoughts? I think like I can't get across enough how much I enjoyed reading this book.
I totally agree.
Like I was giddy reading it. Like I
Yeah.
was smiling, like reading this by myself. Like when everyone would go to bed, I would just stay downstairs and like read.
I can usually refrain from talking about books to strangers and or my girlfriend because I know she doesn't want to hear it.
'Cause it's the first person that doesn't.
Yeah, but this one I had to bring up a couple of times just to see if I could get a conversation to stick. First one unsuccessful, wouldn't take the
Mhm.
bait. Today I got a
Few bites.
few bites like
I want to like carry this around with me, even though I'm done reading it, so that people think I'm reading it. So they ask me about it and be like, "Oh, what are you reading?" I can be like, "Oh, funny that you asked that."
yeah, really pretty good. It's gonna be sad returning that.
I know, like I don't want to ever let it go.
I hope like when you drop it off, the librarian's like, "Hey, would you actually think about that?" I'd be like, "You need to read it
I'll be like,
right
you,
now."
I'll wait.
Yeah. I
I'll wait.
also can't believe librarians are not reading all day. It's like their job doesn't seem all that serious. Like if I was a librarian, I would just be reading books all day.
I'll be like, I've read every book in this library,
Yeah,
so I can tell you about it, or
yeah,
else I'm not doing my job the right
yeah,
way.
I agree.
I also think it's hilarious. Like, I don't know if Ariana, you said there's Ariana, it was on her name.
Yeah,
Like, Amy went to get this for me too, so
yeah,
she had to tell the librarian that this was the book
yeah.
that she wanted to take out. And I think they asked her, like, oh, this is like, we don't like see that one a lot or something. And she was like, it's for my husband.
It's hilarious because I brought that up to Ariana today. I said like I still crack up to the fact that she checked out two books. One was like Love on Heartbreak Island, and
Yeah,
it was Snake
yeah,
Handling in the Appalachian Mountains from
100%.
1995.
100%.
All right, rating.
Oh boy. I have a number
I got one written. I didn't.
in my
I'm not
head.
even gonna give one to you because I don't even want to disrespect your process and thinking that I know where you're at.
You're not even gonna guess mine.
Nah, but I think it's gonna be very similar to mine.
I I oh, this is hard for me. It's not that hard. I'm just gonna do it. You know why? Because I love this book. So so much in so many different ways. And I'll adjust my rating if you don't have the same rating, because I think for the rating I'm about to give, we have to be aligned.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say five.
What?
Like I literally like had fun while I read this book.
Yeah.
Like I had a smile on my face and I was so happy.
Sam.
And I was also like locked in. Like it's a good story. He did a great job keeping you like engaged in it, and like I was really invested in like all the people and the stories and stuff. Like for me, that's what a 5 star is. But I think if you're not a five, I'm willing to come down a notch or two. Because I know like five is very
Yeah.
sacred ground. It's that serpent ground right there.
It is, and I think we've given 5 star books 5 stars that weren't like officially a
Mm-hmm.
5.0, right? So mine is a 4.85,
Oh, yeah, right. Like okay,
which is really a 5, I think, on Goodreads for sure.
Goodreads five. Okay,
Yeah.
and then
I would put it in the same category. Like if we were to look at our top 10 list, I would I would say it's in that like
bubble area.
yeah, that like
It's
Rape of Nanking to Bad Blood for
it's
anywhere
it fits in there.
from 5 to 12.
Like I think it would at least have I would make sure I considered it when thinking of my top 10.
I would also recommend this to other people.
100% I'd say hold on a
Like
second. Let me tell you why.
it's not a Steppenwolf where I personally loved it and you personally loved
Hmm.
it, and I think we both loved that.
And it might not stick, but I do think a lot of people would at least enjoy this book, and not like they're going to start taking up serpents,
No.
but like entertainment
Oh
wise,
yeah.
whether you're laughing at them or you're like invested with them, it
That's what I
works both
mean, yeah.
ways.
I
It
think
does everything.
it has that same like Tiger King type thing where it's like
That's a good
it really
it's a
is
good
like
simile.
yeah, and I think there is a documentary on it. I do actually think I heard that. I think he mentions it in the book, so we should find out what the documentary is and watch it.
If I could see any of these people in action,
Yeah,
it might bump up the rating.
yeah, but that's definitely what it feels like, and it has that same entertainment factor, but it also has a little bit of the factor of like yeah, that like you can't believe that it's
Yeah,
real.
4.9 is probably right.
I think so.
It's just my excitement about it, you know. But
It's
again,
yeah.
if I'm excited about it and I'm liking it, like
I
I
think
don't have a problem just
yeah,
get like if we're just reading that many good books, like and every book's a five, like I'm cool.
yeah.
If I'm getting that much enjoyment from them,
No, I
like
think this is definitely a
that's
5.
that's what I was thinking when I was
Yeah.
reading it. I was like, am I about to give a five to this book? Like,
Because it's like you said, like Beljar I actually really enjoyed listening to.
mm,
Production was insane,
yeah,
and I thought
yeah,
this was better.
yeah. And this
Not in like any, it wasn't written better, it wasn't produced better,
it just
but it was just
had
better.
it had it. It
Yeah,
had the it
it had
factor.
it
And
had Rape of Nanking it.
And I don't know where Dennis Covington is, but if we had an actual chance of getting one author onto this podcast, he might be number one guy.
I think it'd be great.
He would do it.
Yeah,
Like I literally think he would answer an email
yeah.
and be like, "Yeah, like of course I'll come on your book club podcast." Like he just always seemed like he was just down to like try out whatever was going on.
We would have to if we got that yes. I would just be like, we need to spend
I'd be like, I'm actually too nervous,
yeah.
scared. You know, like,
But you also, I think, need to like spend, 15K fixing up your garage into an actual podcast studio. Like I
but
couldn't have him come for some rinky dink
I
lawn
think,
chair backyard
but
situation.
he'd be the guy that would be okay with it. Like if Sylvia
Yeah,
Plath's coming over, I think we got to fix things up if she didn't kill herself.
that and
But like that type of person.
oh
But
yeah,
for him, like he was like amazed by the fact that they're having these services like outside and they just put up like a brush arbor thing with like some trees
yeah.
together. And like he's like they're in the gas station thing. Like he was all about that.
We could
Like I think
just
he of all people I think would appreciate the garage.
that's true.
And that's why I like that about him.
I do. Yeah.
Like
All
if
right.
we had Gladwell, we
Oh,
got to fix things up.
we got Gladwell. I'm renting
Yeah.
a studio for the day. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
he's not coming to some
Yeah.
rinky dink backyard.
100%. All right, so we had a 4.5 and a 4.9.
Two really good books. I was really happy with
Really
these.
excited about
Really
that.
happy and really happy with the how different they were.
It makes me excited. I don't even have books ready to pick yet,
No,
but it
me
makes
either.
me excited to pick books right now
I
because
don't think people can understand how exciting that is.
the book picking is so
Yeah,
exciting. Because sometimes when I like I'll get down on myself if I pick a bad book where I
yeah,
don't want to suggest books, but now I'm feeling good and like I could probably pick 10 books to suggest because I'm like
yeah.
I'm on a high right now.
That's what's scary.
That's when it gets bad.
Yeah. Like
Things that like really was like
I think we partially I think picked these books because I think we both
because we felt
thought
bad about making Call read
yeah
books that weren't that good
yeah we're
again.
pretty terrible.
Even though those ones weren't that bad, but
They weren't
it
atrocious,
wasn't
but
Elusus.
yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
Um,
We made it this far.
how
Two
far
hour
in?
mark, 2 hours. It's actually not bad.
It's perfect.
I thought, yeah.
I just love when I go back and listen, and like we'll finish the first book in like 18 minutes, and I'll just be like, oh,
Bell Jar is
this
probably
must be
20
a
minutes.
yeah, this must be a really short one. And then we just end up
It just
spiraling
keeps
out of
going.
control, talking about deer populations in New Jersey at the 2 hour mark. So yeah, I think 2 hours is perfect. I think that's our sweet spot.
I agree.
I think
For our listeners too, for their sanity.
yeah. I know like Kev's tuned in,
Nice.
like I don't think he's given it more than 10 minutes,
That's all
but
you need.
I keep trying to
Problem is we
get
do the better book second usually,
I think so.
which makes sense, I think, because for us it'll be a better conversation. But for hooking the listener, it might not be the best thing. But
Yeah.
I don't want to change that.
No, I think that this was never about getting views.
And it's
And it
never
never will
the
be.
best part is gonna be when we have like when we're like in our fifth year of the podcast,
Yeah.
and people are like that. People will think it's legitimate because then they'll say like, "Oh, like they've been doing this for 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
like people must be listening to this." And
Yeah.
like in reality, there'll still be no one,
No.
which will be hilarious. But it'll feel like to others, they'll be like, "Wait, maybe I should listen because like they've been doing it for 5 years. It must have some people listening if they
You,
keep doing it."
you know what I want is just for one person to read one of the books that we are,
Suggest
yeah.
just like, hey, like, yeah, that would be cool.
Hey, I listened to your podcast on Salvation
And I
Army,
wanted to
like
read the book, or
Salvation
I, yeah, or I read it and then listened because I
Yes.
wanted to
Yeah.
listen. Like that would
That
also be
got me
cool.
on the Joe Rogan was Tom O'Neill. That
That's
I heard
most of our
him.
books come from like people talking about them on
Yeah. But I
podcasts.
think Joe Rogan actually had like Tom O'Neill on the pod, and I listened to the whole pod, and I was like, I can't get enough of this Charles Manson thing. So then
Incredible
we
topic.
added Chaos, and then we loved
Um,
Chaos. And then I think I went back and re-listened to the whole podcast
I
after
should go
we
listen. I
read
haven't listened to that
Chaos.
one.
Yeah.
It was probably before I was on the Rogan train
Because it's like it's fascinating that it's like you could listen to a 3 hour podcast on a book that you haven't even read
and enjoy
and
it.
enjoy it. And
And
then when you go back and you read it, then you go back and listen to the podcast and it's like you enjoy it so much more. Like you're
right,
just
you're like
like,
you feel because you now you
yes,
know
you're
everything
like
that they're
connected
talking
to
about.
it. You
Yeah,
like when he says this guy's fascinating, you're like, yeah, I thought this guy was fascinating too. Like just
right, because yeah,
it's
now you're a part of the conversation,
yeah.
even though you're
And I
clearly
just
not on
hope
Joe Rogan.
one day one person has that
That's all we
same
ask
thing
for.
for us.
That's a good. Let's end with that.
Yeah.
That's a good message.
We'll
Um,
see you in 2 weeks, two new books.
we're gonna go find some snakes
Sorry,
and
Kyle.
yeah.